Let's go. Let me check. Let me check that these are working right
God.
here. Make sure that we are live on. Well, it hasn't loaded on YouTube yet. It'll load here in a second. It hasn't loaded on Facebook either. Let's give it a second here. Oh, it's loading on. Okay,
Oh
so let
my
me check the
God.
sound. Let me make
It'll
sure that
load here in
everything's
a
good.
second.
It hasn't loaded on
Yeah, go
Facebook
ahead.
either. You talk. Give it a second
Hey,
here. Hang on.
probando,
Okay, so let me
paseos,
check the sound.
estamos.
Let me make sure
It'll
that
load
everything's
here.
good. It hasn't loaded on
Yeah, go
Facebook
ahead.
either.
That's
You
it.
talk.
Hey, yeah,
Probando.
is it
Yeah.
good?
Good.
Sound is good.
It hasn't loaded on Facebook
Good.
either. You talk.
Here we are. Yeah, Macia.
Okay, perfect.
First
Yeah,
time.
it's all working. Sorry, guys, if you are listening to that, there's a bunch of echo, but I was checking the sound. I'll pause this here. If you are listening to that, but I want to keep this on. Checking the sound because I want to see if there's comments there because they don't come up on here.
Ah, okay.
All right, what's up, everybody? Andrew Macia here with the Medellin Buzz. Today is January 6th, 2024. This is the second live episode, live podcast of the Medellin Buzz of 2024. And today I have a very special guest. I'm very excited. He is a Spanish teacher here in Medellin. He's actually a Spanish teacher to one of our, I didn't know this, but one of the Medellin Masterclass alumni, Steven, is his student. And Steven actually wrote me when I put up the announcement that you were going to be on, and he said, "Hey, he's my teacher. He's awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, you can kind of. It's crazy how you can." There's Stephen Bradley. What's up,
Yo,
Stephen?
Steve, papa.
So I'll let you introduce yourself. Who are you?
Well, thank you, man. I'm honored. First thing first, English is not my native language. Kind of nervous right now. But this is my first English interview. I'm gonna try to do my best. But yeah, please be patient. I'm gonna try to not
Your English
struggle
is
so much.
awesome. What
Thank
are you
you,
talking
thank you,
about?
thank you. Yeah, I'm David Gras. Originally I studied music. Actually, I graduated myself as a musician in Bogota. I used to play the guitar very good. That's a sad story for me because I want to resume that career as a musician, you know. But now I'm fully dedicated to Spanish teaching now. I love teaching. I've always been a teacher. I think that's like a mission for my soul because ever since I was a little child, teaching has been part of my life. You know, like
That's awesome.
yeah, like in the high school. The high school, it was a pedagogical high school, la Escuela Normal, la ENSI. It was an emphasis on teaching. So I've always been a teacher. I've teach music, English, and now I'm teaching Spanish.
Nice.
Ever since the pandemic started, I started teaching Spanish. I started just like by chance, like,
Yeah.
you know, like casualidad.
Yeah.
So I was just like practicing my English with this guy, Trey, Gringo Loco Music. Go check that out. Gringo Loco Music. So we were practicing. He was practicing his Spanish with me. I was practicing my English with him. And he said like, "Hey, give me a class, like a formal class. Let's practice this. You're a good teacher." And I said, "Yeah, of course." So I started giving him classes and stuff. And then I realized like, man, there's a whole world, whole business, there's a whole niche, you know,
Right.
about Spanish learning, especially Colombian. I know Colombia, I don't know why, but Colombian Spanish is like the most wanted Spanish, the most famous Spanish, at least that's what I know, especially Paisa, by the way. Not all Colombians we speak Paisa.
Right.
But yeah, Colombian Spanish is the most famous. So I thought to myself like, hey, let's give it a try. And I started studying like branding, developing, like digital marketing, like building brands and stuff. And that's when I started my Instagram channel, teaching Spanish. I was actually raised in Bogota. I was born here in Medellin, but I was raised back in Bogota. So I don't speak Paisa, but I do teach I have some students that they practice Paisa accent because as a musician, you know what? I mean, like there's this thing, dialect coaching. So you have Spanish tutoring,
Right.
on one hand, and on the other side you have Spanish dialect coaching, which is like it's different.
Yeah.
Dialect coaching is for those who already speak Spanish, but they need like get rid of their accent or get this accent like that. Those are for actors. So that's my jam. That's my thing. Like dialect coaching. Of course, I'm a Spanish tutor. I can take a person from zero to basically native Spanish. But my thing is dialect coaching. That's what I like enjoy to do more.
So you work on the accent a lot.
Yeah.
To make sure that people can learn the accent. You said something that was interesting. A lot of people look for the Colombian Spanish, and the Colombian Spanish, I guess, is sought after to learn from, because why do you think that is?
There's a couple of reasons. First, it's the most famous Spanish, I think, because of the music, of the singers, the reggaeton,
right. Like
rocks.
Shakira,
Shakira, J Balvin, Maluma. So they are like the biggest stars. So people ask like, oh, where is this guy from? Oh, he's from Medellin. Oh, Medellin, paisa. Oh, ¿qué más pues? And of course, another reason is like, is sexy. Like especially paisa is sexy. Like if you hear a girl speaking here, it's like, oh fuck, man, this is beautiful. But I think it's for that Colombian Spanish has the fame of being the best Spanish. That's arguably, you can argue with that because we have too many dialects, actually. So, but yeah, Colombian Spanish is the most wanted, most famous Spanish, at least that I know. So I saw that as an opportunity. Let's teach Spanish. Let's teach Colombian Spanish.
Yeah. And how long have you been teaching now?
I've been teaching ever since the pandemic, but I started this at 2021.
Okay.
20, like that was officially,
Official, okay.
Officially, the releasing of the page. I started making lessons, but that's what I do. I have a part-time job, which is I'm the producer of a YouTube channel, which is dedicated to Medellin. It's not a blog channel. It's more like a walking tour channel, showing the city, the streets, the barrios. It's called Medellin now. Of course, I urge you guys to go and follow and check all of the videos. But at the side, I'm a Spanish teacher, and this is what I want to do for a living. Like that's my biggest dream, my biggest goal. Even though I am a musician and I love music. I just love too much singing and guitar. And guitar and stuff, and making songs and stuff. But my biggest goal and my biggest dream now is like be the best Spanish tutor dialect coach you can find.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a good goal to have. That's a good dream. Yeah. So for those of you guys wanting to learn Spanish, I did put David's information or his link to his Instagram on the pinned chat. Let's say hi to some people here. We've got the Marvelous says, I'd like to better my Colombian Spanish. When I was in Cali, I told a local I'm familiar, and she said, sir, your Spanish is not Colombian. It's a mix of Mexican and Central American. Yeah, a lot of people that learn Spanish in the United States, because that's most of the Latin population is from Central America, mainly Mexico. That's the type of Spanish that we learn. Even me, as a kid growing up, I had, when I got here in 2010, I had slightly a Mexican accent when I'd speak Spanish because that's and when I speak to my parents on the phone now, I can notice their accent, that they have like a Mexican accent out there because that's who they're around a lot. And so that's weird how that happens.
That comment, and hello to the Marvelous 16, that comment reminds me of a video I have, like speaking some Caleñan.
Yeah.
Caleño. I don't know if you can or if you want to pull that up. It's on my Instagram page.
Yeah, you have. Let's check it.
It's just a short video.
Yeah. Like, so I'll share the screen here.
If it's easy for you, you can.
Yeah. Which one is it?
Esa está más abajito. Está más abajito.
Está más abajito.
Más abajito, parcero. Más abajito. It's like after 3 days in Cali, something like that. It's funny. See. So for the Marvelous, it's gonna be very, very good, that video. Más abajito, cuando tenía el branding rojo. Más abajito.
Let's see. By the way, his Instagram is awesome, guys. You guys check it out.
Gracias.
He's got so many good videos.
Gracias, gracias. Espérate, no tan rápido que no. Pero baja, sí, es más para abajo. And his Spanish is this one, is this one.
Is this one? Okay.
Yeah. His Spanish is amazing.
Cali.
Mira, no es tu prima, ¿eh? Ay, vos sabes cómo es la Tao el papi. Papi, ¿nos damos un roce por la ermita o qué? Ay, papi.
Papi.
Papi, si te
That's so
contara.
weird. That's so
Papi, no
different,
Rolo,
huh?
¿no? Papi.
Papi.
Ve, no te va a olvidar, tráeme las quimbas que las dejé en tu casa, ¿oís? Vos sabes. Ve, pásame esa chuspita ahí, ve.
After 3
So
days
for the
in
marvelous
Cali,
guy, that would be excellent video to watch. Like papi, those are Caleñans are all about papi bojaves. Those are all about the nasal, like kind
Nasally?
of nasally kind
Yeah.
of sound. Yeah, that's just a good video. So
Yeah, yeah. Zombie, what's up? This is the best name on YouTube. Zombie
Zombie
farts are the worst. Well, wait. Marvelous also said, but I think I can be. It can be a challenge to learn Colombian Spanish because each region speaks differently.
Yeah.
And uses different words, slangs. The Caleño uses different words than the Paisa. Same with the Rolo. Same with the Costeño.
exactly.
Same with the.
So
yeah.
I think that it's important to know is like there is not such thing as Colombian Spanish.
Right.
You know, it's kind of it's plural. It's Colombian should be named Colombian dialects.
Right.
You know, in general we can say Colombian Spanish for the sake of just the learning and stuff, but just Colombian dialects. We have too many dialects.
Right.
And we will get into that later.
Later.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, let's see what else. Zombie says, "What's up? Hey, what's up, Zombie?" The Marvelous also says, "When I was in high school a few years ago." Here, I'll put this up here so we look at the camera when we're reading.
De una.
Well, actually,
De una, let's do it. De una, let's
De
do
una.
it. De una, let's do it. You guys will learn a lot of Spanish.
You'll learn
today.
some Spanish today,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Okay, so the Marvelous also says, "When I was in high school a few years ago, we learned Spain style of Spanish." Oh my gosh, that's like it's funny because they invented the language, yet their Spanish is horrible. Like
Yeah.
I can't stand that. It's really hard.
You
for
don't
me-
like it? You don't like it? I
It's
like it,
really
though.
hard
I
for me
like
to
it.
like
I like it,
the,
man.
the
I like it.
I think particularly when men speak it because it's
Yeah.
so effeminate. Like
Uh-huh.
it feels like very feminine. So when a
Uh-huh.
guy speak, like for example, the first time, you know, Puyol, the soccer
Sí, sí,
player,
sí.
he won the World Cup. He's a defender, the toughest
Sí,
guy. He had like big long hair. He was so strong. And then I heard one time, the first time I ever heard his interview.
Yeah.
Hola, I'm like, what is this guy? He's not
That's
tough
true.
at all.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I think I'm just biased on that. CBL Daddy says your English is 7 out of 10.
Thank you so much.
Nice. Johnny V says solo quiero entender y ser comprendido un poco. David takes the time to construct a lesson to work on your weaknesses.
He's a student of
Oh,
mine.
Johnny's a
Thank you.
student.
Yeah,
Shout out to
thank
Johnny.
you. Shout out to Johnny. Yeah.
Juan Arango TV says in Miami you end up getting a mix of Cuban,
Yes.
Caribbean accent. In my case, I also am guilty of speaking like an Argentine
Oh, beautiful
because of my
accent,
wife and daughter. Oh, wow, your
Beautiful.
wife and daughter are Argentinian, right? Todos los Latinos call me papi in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, we use papi here a lot.
Sí, bastante. Quite a bit, bastante, quite a bit.
Bastante. Yeah, we use the papi. It's funny because it took me about 6 years. Now papi comes out natural to me,
Sí,
like
sí.
parcero
Sí.
or hermano. You know what I'm saying?
Sí,
Like
sí.
in Spanish, you say dude or bro,
Yeah.
like kind of like as a knee-jerk reaction.
We have a lot of those little words. Rey, niño.
I mean niño.
You have used rey, like ¿qué pasa mi rey?
Yeah, mi rey.
They say it like that.
And then like because I used to play basketball
Mm-hmm.
with all Colombians, like in tournaments and stuff, and it'd be like llave,
Pana, llave.
pana, papi, everything. And then you throw in the Venezuelans because they play a lot of basketball, and then you've got a fucking revuelto. It's like
A mix of
a
everything.
sancocho.
Yes.
Let's see. Stephen Badley says he doesn't like the Spanish accent either. What does that say?
CB.
Kermadrugan. capitalist. What about a Bogota accent or dialect? That's him.
That's my accent,
When he
yeah.
speaks in Spanish and even in English, he has the Bogotano accent where he, like the end of the word or the end of the sentence goes a little higher
Para
pitched.
arriba. Sí.
Yeah, it's almost like you're asking a question without asking a question.
I have a lot to say maybe later on Rolo accent because, bro, that's a whole world.
That's a whole different world.
Whole world.
That's a whole different world. So it's interesting because you were born a paisa. You were born
Yes,
here.
I was. My mother always say like, we made you here. We made you there, and you were born there. So
Okay, here. Meaning
yeah,
here.
yeah.
And but you were raised and lived
I was raised in Bogota. Yeah.
in Bogota. And how long have you lived in Medellin now?
I've been here 3 years already.
3 years. And where do you live?
Sorry. I'm living in Calasanz. That's near Estadio, near La Floresta, estación de
Yeah.
metro.
Yeah, I lived in
Calasanz.
Calasanz. I lived in Calasanilla 2.
Ah, qué
Yeah,
chimba, qué
yeah.
chimba.
Those are really good views up
Yeah,
there.
but I live on the
Bottom part?
On the bottom
Like
part,
near Los
yeah.
Colores?
It's near Los Colores, but
Yeah.
it's very near to La Estación La Floresta. I love living there because it's a quiet place. It's near to everything. Es un estrato alto. It's a high social strata, so people are good. It's not dangerous at all.
What estrato is it there?
It's 5.
It's a strato 5 right there. Yeah, I do remember I lived in a really nice apartment. That was back when I didn't have a lot of money, and I was an English teacher in downtown. You know Blendex?
No.
Blendex en el centro oriental con Ayacucho in front of San Jose.
¿Una academia de inglés?
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest ones next to Colombia Americano.
Awesome.
That-
You have some certified certificate
yeah,
in English?
I'm TESOL certified.
C2, I suppose.
C2, yeah. And
awesome.
I got to the point where I
Awesome.
was able to teach the teachers how to pass those tests to get certificates.
Awesome. That's one
And
of
then-
my dreams.
Yeah,
to have at least the C1.
I love. You're a C1 already.
No,
bro.
I'm B2. I'm not,
No. Bro, I was a C1 teacher. You would pass that class with
Thank
flying
you,
colors.
thank you.
Maybe if you don't practice a lot of like grammar and stuff, maybe that would give you guerra or give you guerra.
Lidia,
Maybe,
dice la-
what would you say in English? Give you a hard time.
Yeah, you would struggle a lot.
You would
yeah.
struggle with it, but I think you would be fine. CBL Daddy
thank you.
says, "Are we gonna hear him sing?" Oh, live on the show.
Bro, I'm out of shape, but I'm all about love and just giving love to people. So I could sing a little bit.
we gotta hear you sing.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I could sing a little bit. But
So
I mean,
you're a singer.
I'm not a singer. I'm a musician, so I can make songs and stuff, and he play guitar. But as I said, I'm out of shape. I don't train anymore like
Right.
music. But just for the love for you guys, I would do it. Of course,
You got to do it. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll warm up. We'll warm up. All right. So let's go on with some more questions. So we basically want to get to know you as a Colombian living in Colombia, working with foreigners, obviously teaching them Spanish. So you live in Calasanz, and do you live like in an apartment or a house?
An apartment, yeah, small apartment, just one bathroom, one bedroom, a little space that it could be considered as a living room.
Right.
But that space is connected with the kitchen and stuff. So it's a small apartment, but it's the location is the best. That's why I live there, because the location is just, you cannot ask for a better location in my opinion, you know?
Yeah. And so obviously you live on your own, or do you live with your girlfriend?
No, I live by myself, yeah.
Okay.
Alone, yeah.
And if you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but how much do you pay for rent in that area for one bedroom, one bathroom?
It's okay. I'm paying 900,000 pesos, which is 900,000.
Yeah.
900,000 pesos. Should be pretty much like, say, $400, $350.
No, I think less. Guys, what is that in dollars? 900,000. Let's do it right now.
280, por ahí.
Let's see. I don't know what the dollar is at. Let's just put it right here.
3,800. So cheap, man. You guys
Bro,
save your
his
dollars.
rent for a one bedroom, one bath in Calasanz, which is a strato 5. Imagine, I live in Manila, which is also a strato 5. He pays $229.
Yeah, no. In dollars, it's like, it's awesome. Because, and I do want to, like, man, there's two kinds of conversion. This is the conversion like the exact, let's say the exact or accurate conversion. But you guys have to take into account that for us locals, this number over here, the 900,000,
okay.
for us it feels like $900
I
for
understand.
us. For
Because
us.
of what like the local makes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
And how much you can buy with that.
Exactly. That's a really good tip,
Yeah,
guys. If you
yeah.
guys come down to Colombia, don't think in dollars.
Yeah.
Think that 900,000 pesos is like $900.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you were paying $900, that's like the mentality that's something that I've never actually mentioned on these live broadcasts or any of my videos, which is actually very good point.
Yeah.
For example, I pay 1,600,000 pesos for this 3-bedroom.
1,200.
So yeah, I think like that's $1,600 in the
Exactly.
U.S. instead of saying, oh, it's only $450.
Yeah, no. And that's unfair because people, some foreigners here, they think like 20,000 because of the 1,000. They think that that's a lot. No, it's like $20 for you guys. It feels like for us, it feels like that.
Yeah, it feels like that, but we shouldn't think that way. And yeah, on both ends. So if you're traveling down here or you're coming to live, when you're looking for deals, don't base your deal on dollars. Base it on pesos and how it would feel to a local renting it.
Exactly.
Right.
So for example, I don't know, let's say an apartment average, it could with I don't know, average with 100 millones de pesos, 100 million, you can find some good place. That would be like $100,000.
Right.
So
right.
That's
yeah.
a good
Yeah, that's
conversion.
a good conversion. Yeah, it's a good way to think about it, and because I see a lot of people that come down here with dollars and they spend like if it was nothing, right? And then after a few months, they're like, "Shoot, I don't have any more money. I need to go back to my country and work," and then they're miserable because they can't come back to Colombia, etc. So it's good to think like a local, and that's why I give myself a certain budget, no matter how much I make per month, whether I make a lot more or just a little bit more. I always have like a certain amount of budget that that's what I think that I'm making, right? And I've accustomed my life to that so that I never go over it and overpay on things. The Marvelous says, you're saddened to what happened in Cali. I saw a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment going for like 5,400,000 pesos, which in the U.S. is close to $1,400. Yeah.
And they pay, so it mess up everything.
Yeah. So the salario minimo is 1,300.
He knows big
pesos.
deal. He knows
Yeah.
big time about Colombia, Johnny V. He knows
Yeah.
a lot about Colombia. He's been coming here to Colombia like fucking since like 10 years, something like that.
Yeah, so he knows, yeah.
Big time about Colombia.
Capitalist says that's the problem with Airbnb. Yeah, Airbnb I think is like an anomaly because it's catering to gringos in dollars. But if you go through like the local way of getting an apartment with getting a fiador, having a cosigner, having a local income or a verified income, etc., you're going to get way better deals. Obviously, it's going to be unfurnished. But if you're a tourist, you're not going to do that. You're just going to pay whatever the price is on Airbnb, and it doesn't matter to you because you're on vacation. But if you're going to stay here for a long time, you've got to start working on getting your stuff together to actually rent something long term at a lower price, because nobody wants to pay. Imagine that 1-bedroom, 1-bath on Airbnb. It could, if it's furnished, it could go for like $1,000.
Yeah.
Imagine that's like that's like 4 times. Like 4 times what you pay.
Claro.
And that's normal on Airbnb. Okay, so let's continue with some more questions. Big question is, if someone's visiting Medellin, do you, in your opinion, do you think it is mandatory that they speak some Spanish?
Mandatory? It couldn't be, because it is not. For me, of course, you need to learn Spanish. You need to learn the language. You, Andrew, as a fully bilingual, because you guys, I don't know if you know this, but his Spanish is perfect. It's native level. So you, as a bilingual, fully bilingual person, you know that it is better to know Spanish.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely agree. if you don't know Spanish, you could still come here and
Yeah.
still have a good time.
Yeah.
But you're not going to experience Colombia the way it should be experienced.
Exactly. Like
if you
make
know
make
some
a
of the language.
life. Like make your Colombia life. Like be a local, have some local friends, practice your Spanish, and you know what? Your brain is gonna be thankful with you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, and the more you practice, the more that your brain starts adjusting. Even I had to do it, even though since I was a kid, I spoke Spanish. But once I got here in 2010, I had to really work at thinking in Spanish and communicating in Spanish. And now, after 14 years almost, my Spanish, I feel, is like very good, where I can express my real personality. Because that's one of the biggest, I think one of the toughest things for people learning another language. As a former English teacher and you a Spanish teacher, you probably know this as well, is that when you're trying to express yourself in the other language, it's not like your real personality, because your vocabulary is limited. And then as your vocabulary gets better, as you learn the local slang and the local dialect, you can actually be funny or be your personality. That because in English, I like to joke around. I like to make fun of people, make fun of things. And in Spanish, those jokes didn't translate.
Yeah, it's limited. It's limited.
And they wouldn't translate because it wouldn't be funny to a paisa, because the humor is different.
It's different, of course.
And then once I started working at Blendex and I worked there, and all of my partners were bilingual, and but they were paisas. So in the break room, we were always speaking in Spanish, and I picked up so many things, and I'm like, oh, everyone thinks that guy's funny. So I'd be his friend, and I'd be like, teach me what you're saying.
See, because and what happens, brother, is that hurts. You know, like that situation. I'm having the hardest time right now, like trying to express myself as well as I would do in Spanish, but that hurts. So we tend to avoid that pain.
Right.
And we tend to quit. How many quitters of language learning there is?
Right. More than the people that actually learn. Of course.
So that hurts. So that's what you need to take always, you guys need to take always into account. It's going to hurt. It's you're going to sweat like myself in this moment. It's going to be difficult, but you need to keep on. Tienes que seguir.
You got to keep going. You got to keep going. Otherwise, you're going to lose it, right?
Sí,
Or
claro.
you'll never get it, right?
Sí, claro.
I got to see the notifications. Sorry, guys. I don't see the notifications here.
And there's nothing bad that is going to happen for you out of learning Spanish. There's nothing bad.
Yeah.
So everything is a benefit? Is that word,
Yeah,
right?
everything's a benefit, yeah.
Everything is going to be a benefit.
Yeah.
Actually, in the future, I think bilingual people, they're going to have more opportunities, and job opportunities and stuff, even in the States.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You make more money if you're bilingual in the States a lot of the times. Gabo, thank you so much for the $2 donation.
Gracias,
With the
parcero,
cool
Gabo.
Gabo-chan USA.
Ah, sí, Chanusa, sí.
Gabo, thank you so much. Michael Sand says, how did David learn English? Good question. That was going to be
Thank
our
you,
next
yeah.
question here. How did you learn English? You speak it phenomenally well, guys.
Thank you. You're being very kind. Thank you.
I know his story a little bit because he told me beforehand, but I'll let him tell you again.
I was warming up because when I get here, like, oh my God, we were speaking Spanish. His Spanish is amazing. And I told him, like, no, bro, let's change to English because I need to warm up. This is my first ever interview in English. One of my dreams, being on a podcast, wherever. So, how did I learn English? I've never been on the States. Sadly, I don't have a visa, honestly, right now. That's gonna change very soon, hopefully. But, bro, my parents, I think they have big part on that job because ever since I was a little child, they exposed me to English, audios and songs, and my mother used to play a lot of cassettes, like tutorials in English, and balloon, yellow balloon, yeah, this is a balloon, blue balloon, and the cow and the pig and whatever. So I just like get hooked on the English.
You fell in love with it since you were a kid.
I just love, especially American English. I love American English. So ever since I was a little child, it's like familiar for me. So after I got my first job as a music teacher in this high school, La Salle,
Yeah.
I saw that being a really bilingual person is very good. There's nothing bad out of that. So I
Right.
started practicing consuming as crazy. I'm consuming English every day, every hour of my life. All that I listen to, all that I watch is in English. I do not consume any Spanish. If you go to my YouTube algorithm is always in English. So I just, and this is a very, very good piece of advice that I can give to people. Start first, focus on understand. Why? Because once you understand, you're gonna have fun.
Right. So
You're gonna
focus
have
on
fun.
understanding
First,
first
yeah.
before trying to
Yeah.
have a conversation and talking and expressing.
You
yourself.
can practice your conversation. Me llamo, soy esto, soy lo otro. You can practice that, but focus at the beginning. Focus on understanding, because if you understand, you are gonna have fun, and if you have fun, you're gonna practice more. You will not notice that that you are practicing. For example, myself, I'm just leisure time, like losing my time. You know, I'm just scrolling like a fucking lazy person, but I'm scrolling in English.
I see. Yeah.
You
so
see?
you're
So-
actually not wasting time.
And
just
yeah, quoting, because
doom
I shouldn't
scrolling,
do
yeah.
that much of a scrolling. But yes, exactly. So if you focus on understanding first, you're gonna get hooked with someone, get hooked with something, and you're gonna start just devouring that. For example, I have watched pretty much all Jamie Foxx's videos, all Jim Carrey's videos, all Friends seasons, like 12 times, audiobooks. I can name you, because there was a question here, maybe later on we'll get into that, but there was a question like, what's your Colombian heroes? Honestly, I have more American heroes,
Okay.
and I devoured them, like Jamie Foxx, like Tony Robbins, a lot of guys, and I just devouring them. Why? Because I understand. Maybe I'm not the best at speaking, but I do understand, let's say 90%, 90 something percent. So I start having fun.
Right.
So I was practicing, didn't even noticing that I was practicing.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. Alex, what's up, Alex? Alex says there's a double soundtrack. Is the volume fine now, guys? I think it was. I think it was because this one, I had a window playing it on accident that I opened.
Hola, hola.
But it should be fine now. Gabo says that, Max, what's up, Max? Max says, hola, I live in Londres, but I'm originally from Filipinas. Oh, eres Filipino. You speak Tagalog. Yeah, Tagalog. Gabo says there is a new body of scientific literature about bilingualism and the effects on the growth of the human brain. That's
Okay.
interesting. Yeah. I think people that are bilingual, I read a study years ago that people that are bilingual have a least lower propensity for Alzheimer's or like even dementia, because your brain is constantly working even as you get older, because as you get older you don't do a lot of things. But if you are bilingual or speak multiple languages and you consume content with those multiple languages, your brain has to work more than just someone that just uses one language. So it's pretty interesting how that happened. The volume is good, Max. Thank you, Max. I appreciate that. Capitalist says, I think that being bilingual is what will help lift the next generation of Colombian kids out of the poverty. The world is bilingual, whether the U.S. wants to be or not. Well, I mean, the U.S. is pretty bilingual. I mean, there's so many. It's a melting pot of people.
Sí, claro.
Yeah.
And you know what? Colombians are good for English, man.
Yeah, once they
have talent.
When they learn, yeah, it's funny because, like I said, I was an English teacher for like 5 years, and I had some students that, just like you, he's never left Colombia ever. He's never lived in the U.S. or any English-speaking country, yet his English is perfect. And I had a lot of students like that too, that eventually became English teachers themselves without ever leaving the city of Medellin, which I think is unbelievable.
It is possible, and it is possible because one of the biggest struggles and excuses people tend to make is, oh no, but I'm not in Colombia. How the fuck I'm gonna speak Spanish? I'm gonna learn.
I need to be immersed.
Yeah. I need so only when I'm there I'm gonna practice the Spanish. No, you can do it, man. You can do it. Come on.
Yeah. It's true. So. Yeah, learning another language, there's no downside, I don't think. All right, so another Another question for you is, there are differences between the Spanish in Colombia.
Yes,
Can
sir.
we go through some regions and talk about some of the differences?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're funny. I think for me, it's interesting and fun to talk about the different dialects and accents in Colombia. So we're in Medellin, and the people here are called Paisa. And when someone says they speak Paisa, we know exactly what it is. Can you say a few sentences like what your name is, where do you live, and what do you do for a living, but in Paisa Spanish?
Sí, claro, claro, claro. Por ejemplo, for example, Paisa accent is like swingy, is like it's sexy, es cantadito, ¿cierto? Es como que estamos hablando, y que nos vamos para acá, pero que no. This is kind of the exercise I do when I am tutoring someone. Just the music.
Yeah, just the tones,
Yeah,
the
tone.
music, yeah.
¿Cierto? Pero que lo que le pasa pues mi hijo, pero que está haciendo mi hijo, pero que lo que
That's
está
so
pasando.
true. That's
Ay,
exactly what it is.
weón. Entonces, el español paisa es más así. Es un español que it's a kind of Spanish that I wouldn't say is the best Spanish as far as grammar is concerned,
Right.
you know? Like as far as vocabulary, conjugation is concerned, it's not the best. They don't use the Spanish fully as its fullest. Depending on the person, of
Right,
course.
of course, yeah.
Depending on the person. If you go to the university and you talk with a literature professor,
yeah, or like some of the politicians that are very, very good.
Exactly.
Hey, capitalist, thank you for the $5 donation. Appreciate it.
Gracias, parcero.
So that's Paisa Spanish.
Sí, el español
el
paisa
paisa
es más así que viene
Me
así.
llamo Andrew y vivo en Medellín. Yeah, and for example, my cleaning lady, her Paisa, she is like the most Paisa Spanish I've ever heard.
My suegra is like that.
Yeah, it's just
Hola,
like,
mi amor, ¿cómo está bien? ¿Ya comió?
I know
¿Ya comió?
gas. I know gas. Like, it's so funny, but
Sí,
yeah,
sí,
it's
sí.
really interesting. So that's the Paisa Spanish.
Sí.
It's very swingy. It's very melodic.
It's very melodic, and it's important to say that in Medellin, in the Valle de Aburrá, which is like the big Medellin, which includes Envigado, Sabaneta, includes not Rio Negro, but Bello, and it's like a valley. It's a big valley. It's all connected through the metro. We have different accents because
within the valley.
Yeah, within the valley. Because if you go to, for example, if you go to the Tesoro, which is the fanciest mall here in Medellin, that's the Spanish you want to learn, for example. Que es así como más hola princesa, pero que está haciendo pues more. Y así como más bonito, más bonito. Pero if you go maybe to Bello, certain parts of Bello, is more like the ghetto paisa.
Yeah, so you've got like the Nea Spanish,
Exactly.
the Nea Paisa. Nea is like the ghetto.
It is called the Nea Paisa and the Fresa Paisa.
And the Fresa Paisa. So those are the two different dialects in Medellin for Paisa Spanish,
Exactly.
which is the Nea, which is the ghetto Spanish,
Exactly.
like the what you'll hear like hip hop and
Exactly.
reggaeton, and then the Fresa, which is strawberry, the strawberry Spanish, which is the
Exactly.
more refined
Barbie girl.
the Barbie girl type of like high class, high echelon of people that
and
speak it.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
I like it. I like
it's
it.
easy to understand too for me.
Sí,
like,
sí.
But the Nea, that was the hardest one to understand when they speak. It's like going to the United States and you are in English, or you're practicing English, and then you get to a place where they only speak in Ebonics, which is like slang, or complete slang. You would be lost. It would be very hard to understand. That's what happened to me when I first got here. I'm fluent in Spanish, but when I heard someone speaking Nea, I was like, damn, I got
and
like
it feels
5%
dangerous.
of that.
The Nea, it feels dangerous. Like,
Like when you hear someone
entonces, ¿qué niño? ¿Si está bien o qué niño? Uy, gonorrea, como que quieto. No, sí, estoy bien. Es como que, miedo.
Johnny say something with vos and papi.
¿Cómo?
Say something with the words vos.
Ah, claro,
y
el
papi.
voceo. Sí. No, pues papi lo usamos todo el tiempo, ¿cierto? Yo no uso tanto papi. No sé por qué, creo que en Bogotá no lo usamos tanto. I don't use I'm not that much of a papi user. But the voz is the voceo. Remember that in Spanish we have three kind of you.
Right.
In Spanish we have three kind
Which
of
is?
you. Which is tú.
Which is informal.
It's informal to like boys to girls. They always talk with tú.
Okay.
But boys to boys tend to talk with usted.
Which is more formal.
It's more formal, yeah, exactly. And we have the vos. And the vos is the voceo. And the vos changes the verb. For example, vos qué decís? What do you think?
So instead of
What could
saying
you say?
tú qué dices,
Exactly.
usted qué dice, you say
Change the
vos
verb.
qué decís.
Que decís.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I say the only time I use vos is when someone asks me, when someone I know asks me, ¿Cómo estás, papi? Yo, bien, todo bien, y vos. That, like,
vos?
literally, that's what I use it
Sí,
for
sí,
the
sí, sí.
most.
But the voceo, it changed the verb. So, for example, if I say, vos qué pensás? ¿Tú qué piensas? ¿Usted qué piensa? What do you think? What do you think? ¿Vos qué pensás? ¿Usted qué piensa? ¿Tú qué piensas? In Medellin, it's 50-50.
Right.
The people use vos and people use usted. It's 50-50. But if you go to Cali is all about voceo, for example.
Yeah.
If you go to Argentina, for example, they don't talk about usted. They don't talk in usted form. They
Really?
always vos. In Argentina, always vos.
Okay.
Si yo le dije a vos que dijiste que vos sabías y vos dijiste esto, pero ¿qué te pasa, boludo? Entonces, sí, el voceo.
Yeah.
El voceo.
Okay, that's interesting. CBL Daddy says, "What's his favorite language and his favorite accent?" So, I guess what's your favorite accent in Colombia?
My favorite language is English. The English that I speak, Tony Robbins, bro. That's my favorite language in the world. But if we talk about Spanish, that's something else. Yeah.
Okay, so your favorite accent is the American accent in English.
Yeah.
And in Spanish, what's your favorite accent?
In Spanish is I hate the rolo. Then the 90%.
Rolo? You speak Rolo. You can't hate yourself.
But there is 90% of rolo. It's ugly in my opinion. It's ugly. But there's a 10% rolo, que es este rolo que es como más educado.
Ese es el que me gusta.
Exacto.
That's how my cousins talk over there.
Exactly.
Like my male
more
cousins,
educated, yes.
It doesn't sound like this.
No,
it's like
more like a professor.
It's like when they talk to me in that tone, it's like I pay attention.
Exacto.
It's very interesting how that happens.
Que es como un acento más tranquilo, es un acento que es como más elocuente.
It's very eloquent,
Yes,
and it almost sounds like almost authoritative.
Exacto.
Like it makes you listen.
Sí, claro.
It's very interesting.
That's my favorite for me.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Because you know what? I used to speak very rolo, ñero.
Ñero,
¿Qué
they
pasa?
call it
Ah,
ñero.
¿sabe qué, parcero? ¿Qué es lo que está diciendo usted? Suerte,
huevón.
gonorrea, suerte se piró. Pero,
They use huevón a lot over there too.
yeah, we use huevón.
Huevón
yeah.
and marica, right? Like
Huevón,
huevón y marica.
all the
so
time.
huevón and marica is like saying parcero if you're talking to somebody, but if you're mad at someone and you say huevón or marica, that can also be a bad word.
Exactly, and marica, it means faggot.
Yeah, and we don't use that word at all.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. But yeah, that's like the meaning is that. It's
Yeah,
the F
so
word.
imagine the F word
Yeah.
saying that to somebody as a friend.
Yeah, all the time. ¿Qué pasa, marica? ¿Y usted qué marica? ¿Qué
Yeah,
es lo que está haciendo,
but here
huevón?
they don't care about that.
No,
It's like
no.
weird. Why?
No.
Like, why do you call each other that?
We call each other marica all the time, bro. All the time.
So
all the
weird.
time. Huevón y marica todo el tiempo.
And what is huevón?
Huevón is big. Actually, I have a video on that. My latest video on Instagram is about huevón word. Huevón literally mean big testicles. Because huevas, it means testicles.
All right.
So mis huevas are my testicles. Huevón is big testicles, but it just become a kind of a dude, bro, mate, whatever. So, ¿qué pasa, huevón?
¿Qué pasa, huevón? Yeah, I even use it now. Like,
Sí,
after
claro.
14 years here, I'll say huevón when we play
Nosotros lo
basketball.
usamos mucho.
In Bogotá more than here, I think.
Sí puede ser un poquito más.
Yeah.
Poquito más nomás.
But here, marica is all the time.
Sí,
like, here,
marica.
everything is marica. I'm like, dang.
Sí.
So, like in the United States, if you say, or I guess if you go to another country that speaks Spanish and you call someone marica, that would be for
Sí.
fighting. It's
Sí,
like,
sí,
what
sí,
are you
claro,
calling
claro,
me?
claro.
But here, it's just like, oh, what's
We
up?
have a more serious version of the word, which it would be maricón.
Yeah.
Maricón.
That's more
That's
serious.
rude. That's rude.
That would be like the F word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sí,
Not fuck, because we can say that, but the other one we can't say.
See, is this big time curse word or what?
It's a big time insult. Yeah, for
sí,
people.
sí,
It's like in Spanish, I don't know.
Creo que es como cacorro. Algo así.
Yeah, exactly. Cacorro. You wouldn't say that to somebody.
Sí.
Juan Arango says huevón is like idiot. Yeah, like it could be used in that
sí, también
context.
puede ser huevón, it's stupid.
Yeah,
Sí.
este huevón, ¿qué le pasa?
Sí.
It's like, and this idiot, what's up with this idiot, right? What's up with this idiot?
Sí,
y este huevón, ¿qué le pasa?
Sí, señor.
But you could also say, hey, huevón, ¿cómo estás? It's like, what's up, buddy?
Sí,
What's
sí,
up with
sí.
with big testicles?
Yeah.
What's up? Imagine having a translator. What's up, my big testicle friend?
Biggie testicle, yes.
Steve Bradley says he keeps trying to get me to say it too. You tried to teach it to him. Max says that's why I want to learn Spanish from someone in Colombia, because I know someone from Medellin and I want to learn some Spanish as him. Oh, I see. Yeah, exactly. If you're coming down to Medellin, obviously you want to get familiar with the accent so that when you get here, it doesn't sound so foreign to you. Even if you're learning Spanish, learning the accent can help a lot.
Claro.
Carol G says maquinón, but maquinón
Sí,
is
maquinón
different.
es otra cosa, sí.
It's different than marica.
Sí,
or,
sí,
or
sí. O
maricón.
maricón. Sí,
Yeah,
sí, sí.
which is different.
Sí, sí. Good song.
Marica in Colombia is like boludo in Argentina.
Sí,
Yeah,
sí, sí, sí,
exactly.
sí.
Because boludo could be good or bad,
Exacto.
depending on the context.
Exacto.
That's true.
Exacto.
So that's the Paisa accent.
Sí.
So what about the difference between Paisa accent and we kind of already went through the Bogotano accent,
Sí,
the Rola
sí,
accent.
sí.
The Paisa accent is more melodic, right? It's like almost like a
más
song.
cantadito, más
Yeah.
relajadito, más
And then the
flirty.
Bogota accent is
El acento de Bogotá, en general, a mí me parece feo. I think it's ugly in general. Like 90% is ugly. But es como muy así para arriba y para abajo todo el tiempo.
up and down,
Y
up and down.
entonces viene así que es...
It's almost like pushing, right? You're
Sí,
pushing
sí,
the
sí,
accent
sí, sí.
out.
Sí, pero it feels, like, honestly, it feels lovely. Especially for example, my aunts, they speak the most Rolo accent you can ever... So they speak like my aunts. They speak like that. Hola, papito, ¿cómo está, mijito? ¿Bien o qué? Ay, papito, ¿qué está haciendo, papito? Ah, bueno, mi amor. Ay, qué lindo, papito, ¿qué está haciendo? Y qué... Ay, tan lindo, mijito, tan hermoso. No, papito, nada, papito. Papito. Dicen todo el tiempo. Entonces, sí se siente amoroso.
Yeah.
The Rolos, they have infamously... They are infamously known because they are rude, but they are very lovely people.
Yeah.
Sí.
Yeah, I got that feeling when I
Sí.
lived there for 6 months that people were so nice.
Sí,
But
sí,
granted
sí.
that I was coming from Los Angeles where people are not so nice.
Ah, okay.
So Bogota was like super friendly for me.
Sí, sí.
But I could understand now living in Medellin for so long
Sí.
that the Bogotanos are a little bit colder, right?
Sí.
When they speak to you and when they interact.
Sí,
so
sí,
that's
sí,
that's the Rolo accent. What about the Caleño accent?
Ah, bueno, el caleño, uy, me encanta. Yo puedo más o menos imitar el acento paisa. I could kind of imitate the paisa, the Rolo, caleño, kind of. The costeño is difficult for me. Anyway, so the caleño is all nasally, is the word?
Nasally, yeah.
Nasally, thank you. It's all about nasally. It's all about voz. Caleños, they speak all about every time there is voz, voceo. Y Bohames, like the very big essential for Caleñan Spanish is Bohames.
Bohames?
Bohaves.
Bohaves.
Como
Bohaves.
vos sabes?
Bohaves.
Bohames. You know what I mean?
Bohaves.
Bohames.
I would have never
Sí.
understood that. Yeah, if someone says Bohames,
That's the biggest,
now
like,
that I know,
essential
yeah.
in Spanish for Caleño. Bohames.
Yeah, they
Bohames.
basically eat up the whole like first letters of South. The ending and the beginning of the two words. Interesting.
Exacto. Los caleños también hablan, the Caleñan people, they talk always with oís. So,
Oís?
oís is you heard,
Yeah.
but conjugated with the voz. With the
Oís.
voz too. Oís, vos oís. Entonces, oís, ve, y vos qué, ve. What about you? What are you doing?
¿Y vos
Y
qué?
vos qué, ve. Y vos qué, ve.
So they have a nasally accent, and they also use the vos.
All
form,
about both.
and
Like
which
90%,
changes the
yes.
verb conjugation as well.
And all about papi. Papi,
And they
¿qué
use
está
papi everything.
haciendo? Caleña woman, man, like they speak beautiful. I think for me is more beautiful. I like it better than
Really?
than paisa. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my.
I dated a caleña. She did have a very beautiful
You know
accent.
why? Because paisas girl, they tend to intimidate. Like it's too much. But Caleñans accent, especially in girls, it's like it's like kind.
It's kind,
It's
yeah.
kind.
It's very soft.
Yeah,
It's
sí,
very,
sí, las caleñas.
yeah.
Sí, por eso está el dicho, there's a saying, Colombian saying, las caleñas son como las flores.
Yeah,
Caleñas
that's their slogan for the women out there.
Sí, señor, sí, señor.
Las caleñas son como las flores. The caleñas are like the flower, like flowers.
Sí, señor.
Yeah,
sí,
because
señor.
they're very delicate and pretty
Sí,
and
y
nice.
muy amables.
Yeah.
Muy amables, demasiado todo bien. Son muy todo bien. Contrarily, I mean, on the other side, paisas girls, they tend to be more like, like creídas, like
Yeah, a little bit stuck up. Stuck up is
that's
creída.
new for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
stuck up.
Stuck
yeah.
up. That's new for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Compared to them, because
Sí,
the
sí.
paisa compared to like women from other countries are super not stuck
no,
up.
and they are, but it happens. It happens.
Okay.
Sometimes. Sí, sí, sí,
Okay, so that's Cali, and then obviously the other big region with a very big accent is the coast.
La que los costeños.
La costeño. So I have a funny story. So I went for the first time, like 11 years ago or 12 years ago. I went to La Costa, and I went to I was in Cartagena, I believe, and we had gotten off a little boat. We were on a boat, and then we got off, and I'm like, I needed to go to the bathroom, and there was a little restaurant, like this little hole in the wall, like fish restaurant. And I go and I say, hey, ¿puedo usar el baño? Es que acabamos de salir de la lancha. And the lady's like, taca atrás. Yeah, I'm like, taca atrás. She looked at me dead in the eye and she goes, taca atrás. Taca atrás. I'm like, what is taca atrás? I'm
Está acá atrás.
Yeah, like that one meme where all of the like scientific calculations are going. Because I was going through my mind. I'm like, taca atrás. I'm like, so she saw me didn't move. She's like, taca atrás. And I'm like, oh, está acá atrás. But she said taca atrás.
That's a phenomenon that happens with Costeñan Spanish because the S letter at the end of the words is
Yeah.
it's just, hey, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás tú? Ajá. Bueno, the Costeñan accent, I'm not the best at Costeñan accent, but that phenomenon happens that that has a name actually. Has a name.
In dialects, I guess.
Sí. I don't know the name, but that has a name. It's a phenomenon that the S's, they
They
like
exhale on the S
exhale,
and
yeah.
not pronounce it like with
¿Y
the
cómo es esa
sound.
vaina? ¿Y cómo es esa vaina?
Yeah, how? Yeah,
¿Cómo es esa vaina? ¿Cómo es?
¿Cómo es?
¿Cómo es?
Yeah, I've heard that. I have some friends that are from the coast here, again, through basketball.
Sí, qué
and
chimba.
they're super difficult to understand when they
Sí.
talk with each other.
Fast
it's almost
as
like a
hell.
different language.
Yeah, sí, claro. Pero que lo que te pasa es, vale,
Yeah, and it sounds like they're always fighting. But they're actually like best friends, and they're like
Sí,
saying
son
nice things.
demasiado,
But it sounds
demasiado,
and
sí.
their movements, like they're
Demasiado,
always
sí.
fighting.
Sí,
But it's
sí,
not.
sí.
They're not fighting.
Sí, no, they're fine. And between regions, like between cities, Cartagena, the main cities of el acento costeño, coastal Costeñan accent are Cartagena, Barranquilla, and Santa Marta.
In Santa Marta, and then you got El Chocó, which is way different.
Yeah,
It's
way
completely
different,
different.
and Guajira, which
And
is
Guajira
also
is a
way different.
completely different region.
So in los samarios, people from Santa Marta, el costeño de ellos es como más relajado, como que pero que lo que está diciendo, pero qué te pasa.
Yeah.
Es como el pibe Valderrama.
Yeah, Pibe Valderrama.
El pibe Valderrama
Yeah.
habla samario. Creo que el pibe.
No,
Bueno,
Pibe es de
Carlos Vives.
Barranquilla.
¿Sí?
Yeah.
Bueno, Carlos Vives.
Carlos Vives,
Sí,
yeah.
Carlos Vives, él habla más amario, que es así. Y bueno, pero ¿y ustedes qué están haciendo? Que es como más así, más como más es familiar. Pero el de Barranquilla, I think Barranquillan accent is the most famous costeñan accent, I would say.
Yeah, because of Shakira,
Because
who
of
now
Shakira.
speaks with like a Spanish accent, which is very annoying. It's like, why did this happen?
Sí, 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 sí.
But anyway,
Shakira, sí,
let's
sí.
say hi to some people that just came
De
in. Hey,
una,
what's
de
up,
una.
AK? AK is here. He says, ¿Qué más papas? ¿Qué más papas?
¿Qué más, papás?
¿Qué más papacitos? Please. My girlfriend speaks costeña and I hate it.
¿Sí? Uy.
Yeah, I love it when women.
Sí, claro.
Honestly, as long as a pretty girl talks to me, that I like it.
Sí,
So
claro,
it doesn't
obvio,
matter
obvio.
what the accent is. That's just the truth. I don't know.
Sí, sí,
I'm a
claro.
guy. Johnny says, wait, why are some YouTubers so scared of traveling to Colombia? I see you thriving down there. I think it's just the bad rap, and we're going to get to that because I'm going to ask him about safety towards the end. So make sure to stick around till the end of this episode because we're going to talk about safety and what he believes and what he thinks about the security and safety problem in Colombia or in Medellin at least. But I think it's because of that. There's a lot of bad publicity. People, don't want to come down here because because all you see on YouTube is either prostitute videos or what do you call it? Or bad news. Like that's what gets the views. That's what people are clicking on. If you don't want that to happen, stop watching those videos because by you watching those videos, you're feeding the algorithm that's what people want to see. But yeah, I think it's because that's what's thriving on the internet.
Sí,
Stephen Bradley says, I found David first on social media and he's the reason I wanted to learn more about Medellin. Let's go.
Stevie Papu.
Mr. Young OG says, if he thinks Paisa women are stuck up, he should visit Miami or New York or California for that matter. Holy cow.
Sí,
Yeah.
sí creo.
Johnny says, emphasized with a list in their own dialect. Oh, yeah, the costeños. No mamen, as long as you speak Spanish, you'll be fine. Yeah, that's true. As long as you speak Spanish, the accent thing, like you said, comes second, right? Like,
Sí, claro.
First, you want to understand, and so that you can understand some of the culture. But the more you live down here, the more that accent will start sticking to you. It's just like anything. If you move to Texas, you probably will get some of that Texas accent if you live there for 10 years,
Sí,
right?
sí, claro. And you know what, you guys? You want to keep some of your accent. Not all of them, especially the raw. Especially the trabajar, palabra. You don't want to keep that. But you want to keep some of your accent because it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
cool.
for example, you have an accent when you speak English, and that's cool. Like, you don't want to completely eradicate
exactly.
that.
To completely get rid of that, maybe it's not such a good idea. Especially for you guys, when you like, ese es otro acento que yo puedo hacer, como los gringos que pueden hablar un poquito así, como tú sabes, sí, no, yo he vivido acá mucho tiempo y por eso he aprendido español y me gusta. It's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. It's cool to
cool.
see someone that can get to that level,
Sí, claro.
and even though they have an accent,
Sí,
you
es
completely understand them, and you
No, people are gonna be interested in you.
super respected,
Where are
yeah.
you from? But you are from here, but your Spanish is perfect. So you guys are gonna want to keep a little bit, just the right the amount of your accent. You wanna keep that.
and yeah, as long as what I used to tell my students when I was teaching English, because a lot of students would come and tell me that they want to have the American accent, or they want to speak in the English accent because they thought it was cool, or the Australian accent because they thought it was cool. And I was like, look, just focus on learning the language
Sí.
first, because the accent part is more of like a cultural thing. Like, you can learn it and mimic it, and some people are really good at it, right? But most of the time you acquire it because you lived in a place for a few years, right? So the most important part is just communicating. That's why we study languages, is to communicate. And as long as you can communicate, the accents and even like some of like the idioms and colloquialisms come second. And they will come the more you practice, because it's part of life, right?
Yeah, you can just give a little bit of percentage of your learning to that. At the same time, you are learning to communicate, to understand. Yeah, you can dedicate some of your time, some of your journey of accent. Let's say, I don't know, 50% on accent, but that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe when you reach the B1, B2, C1 level, then are gonna want to focus on just dialect coaching and stuff.
Yeah. You want to what?
You wanna
Wait, you said The word enfocar in English?
See, focus?
Focus. Oh, because you said it with a U.
Focus?
Fuck us. You want to fuck?
You want
that
to
reminds
fuck you?
me-
Well, how
focus. Yeah,
Focus.
focus.
Thank you,
A very funny story about that. So I was my 1 year of junior college when I was in the United States. I went to college for 1 year, and this lady from like Africa was giving an exposition on something, and she was speaking to everybody, and and it was like on women's rights in Africa, and then she says, and this is what we want to fuck us. And we want to fuck us on this and that. And everyone's like, what? She's saying,
fuck us.
They want to fuck us.
Man.
But she's saying focus, and it's a common mistake.
Focus.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, see, we're learning. Everyone's learning today.
Yeah.
B2 says, how does the dialect accent differ as you go out of Medellin and into the more rural area like the coffee region?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that happen. What happens there is that when you go to those regions, it's more like antique paisa. Those one who say frijoles.
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 The frijoles. They speak
Sí.
like the
Very
real
wishy.
paisa and the rural paisa. I've noticed when we do like help Colombia stuff in some of like the veredas up here and stuff. They speak like this. It's almost like they're
El
it's like
chicheo,
Sean Connery of Spanish. It's like the Sean Connery of paisa Spanish. It's like
it happens that phenomenon, which it has a name. I do know that name, which is ciseo, el chigeo.
El chigeo.
It's not ese, it's eshe. Especially in those regions, people talk all about boss, always boss, and chigeo is more like an antique kind of paisa Spanish.
Yeah.
Es muy paisa. Vamos a comer frijoles, okay. Miguito ya comió frijoles.
cafecito.
Cafecito, que es rápido también.
Un cafecito con los frijoles. That'll make your stomach turn. Condor has a really good question. Wait, AK said, what matters most is learning the language itself. Yeah, Max, that's
Señor.
Max. AK says, I just did a 3-day tour in Bolivia, and for an English-speaking guide, it was $220 extra. Wow. I did it in Spanish.
Claro.
Yeah, see, if you're bilingual, you make more money usually.
Claro. Sí,
Condor
señores.
says, hello, I joined the chat late. Does David teach at a Spanish school?
No.
He's independent.
No, I'm independent. Yeah, I teach on my own. Yes.
Yeah, and his Instagram page, if you want to contact him for classes, like virtual classes, what do you use, Zoom or something?
I use Google Meet pretty much because Google Meet that has this software that as I speak, it shows the subtitles.
Oh, that's
at the same
amazing.
time,
That's
yes.
really good.
So I use that a lot. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Sí,
That's
sí,
awesome.
sí, sí.
Yeah, so he's independent. If you want to hit him up on the Instagram page. It's in the pinned comment or the pinned chat. Condor also says, would you recommend a Spanish school in Medellin, preferably in El Poblado? There's a few. Like, for example, Ella Fun is really good, and they also sponsor the student visa at Ella Fun. It's like elephant, but Ella Fun. And then El Valle, the Valley Spanish, which is on Calle 10 also, Valley Spanish. And there's a couple others, but those are the two big ones that I know.
See, I don't really know, man. I couldn't recommend any Spanish language school because I don't really know.
You've never seen them, yeah. Yeah, I don't know them either. I've never been to them, but I see that they're like the most popular ones.
Sí.
B2, LOL, Sean Connery of Spanish, Shishash Pashe. Johnny V, you'd do better with Zoom classes with David. Cheaper and one-on-one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And it's one-on-one. I think that's the most
always
important
one-on-one,
part is that
Because it's that Spanish coaching.
it's more
not
focused on the
tutoring.
person
Yeah,
that's
exactly. That
learning.
coaching, yeah.
Because when in a group, sometimes it's hard to just focus on one person. I know because when I was an English teacher, my classes, the best classes when I had only like 5 students.
for sure.
But when I had like 15 or 20 students, it was just like I couldn't just focus on one kid that had like that couldn't pronounce a word or didn't understand this. It was like, okay, we have to keep moving, right?
Claro.
So some people would get lost.
Claro, we say clear in order to say yeah. Claro.
Yeah.
Sí.
Johnny V, okay, I already read that. Red Giraffe, what's up, Red Giraffe? Hello, David. Do you ever, what does he say? Do you ever play video games? If not, what are you, so Red Giraffe is a
Thank you.
streamer. He's a Fortnite streamer, and I met him when I used to be a Fortnite streamer.
I only play 2 games. at good level. Crash CTR, Crash Team Racing. I'm very good at it, especially the antique one, the oldest one,
the old school one.
Yeah, the old school one. I play like very few people have beaten me in that. Yeah.
Okay.
Crash Team Racing and just football, soccer,
FIFA.
Sí.
Johnny V says, all super expensive because some offer boarding and help with visas. Exactly. If they have boarding, like if they have rooms that they rent for like an immersion program, then they'll be more expensive. That's right. Juan Arango, what's up? Clear is like saying copy in English.
Copy
yeah,
that,
true.
copy that.
AK says, David, can you explain the difference between por and para? Nobody can give me a straight answer.
Bro, I don't know if I could right now, honestly. I have a video on that. I urge you to go and watch that video. And if you have some doubts after watch that video, please hit me up.
Yeah.
I have that video on YouTube.
As a native Spanish speaker, I don't even really realize that there's a difference. I guess it's like because I never taught it. Like when you teach something, you learn more of it. I never taught Spanish, so I don't know what por and para would be. I just know how to use it. That's it.
Sí, es que that's the way it works.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. But for the sake of the question and stuff, I have a video on that because por, it has like 5 uses and para, it has another uses. For example, this is for you. Esto es para ti.
Para ti.
Because it's not something that I'm giving to you. This is for you. Esto es para ti. But if I'm talking about ¿por qué estás triste? Por la lluvia, weón. No puedo salir.
Yeah.
Because
why?
of.
Yeah, or why? ¿Por qué?
¿Por qué? That would be por qué.
Like why? Yeah.
Sí,
and then por qué it would be why, and then por la lluvia because of the rain.
Sí, pero it's pretty extensive subject, so I urge you to go on my YouTube channel. I don't know if you can pull that YouTube channel, maybe put it on the link there, because I'm not ranked enough in order to
what is it? Colombian
Spanish, but you have to filter by if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel. Yeah.
I'll put it on the chat here.
Eso. And put the video if you want. It's one of the most important videos. Por and para.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I'll
I have
put
a
it in
video
the chat
on that.
here. So this is the YouTube channel. If you
That's
guys
my
wanna go,
YouTube
that's
channel.
his YouTube channel. It's pretty new, right?
See, look at that. Definite por and para lesson.
Yeah, and then AK, this is for you right here.
Sí.
Here's the por and para.
Sí, señor.
Right there. That's the video.
And thank you
por
for
and
asking that. Thank you.
Por versus para. Thank you, Johnny V. Yes, exactly. All right. So next question we have is, we already went over this. How do you feel about the cost of living in Medellin? Is it affordable? Is it expensive?
The cost of living in Medellin, it is affordable. In general terms, it's very affordable. Of course, locals sometimes we have hard time because the renting here is going up because of this phenomenon that it's happening, the Airbnb, the tourists and stuff. But it is very affordable. So if you know how to make your income in dollars, it's gonna be
very
much,
affordable.
like, very affordable, yes. Very affordable.
But you as a local, when you work with someone teaching them Spanish, you obviously get paid in pesos.
No, I always try to make dollars because this is like, I consider this like an international kind of emprendimiento, like a business, international business. So the international money is dollars.
It's dollars. And what, do you like have a PayPal account or something?
Sí, PayPal.
Oh, so you use PayPal?
Sí.
Nice.
Sí,
yeah.
But it's very affordable here. I like it very much. It's just always, of course, the best solution for everything is make more money. Of course. Work less, make more money. How? I don't know. You figure out. It is possible. It is make more, work less. But yeah.
Interesting. And how much do you usually charge for a lesson?
I have different plans, but like the main one is 177 177?
Yeah, 177,000 pesos?
No, dollars.
Dollars, okay.
For monthly payment.
Oh, 177 per
Sí,
month. And
per
what
month.
does that get you?
12 lessons.
12 lessons. and
One-on-one lessons.
And each one-on-one is how many minutes or
55 minutes.
So
55
almost an
to
hour?
60.
Yeah.
Sí, claro.
So about almost 12 hours.
Sí, claro. That's
Okay.
my main plan that everyone asks for that plan.
Wow, that's great.
177.
That's great. That's cool. Yeah. Let's see. Well, hey, Medellin says, what's up? How's it going? Stephen Bradley says, great live, parceros. Thank you, Steve. Joseph says, was just going to ask the money. Yeah, the money situation, $177 per month. That's like the most popular one. And you get about 12 hours of one-on-one.
Sí. And the thing is that I am always taking care of your process. Always like obsessed with your process. What do you want? What are your goals? What do you have to do for reaching that goal? So
Right.
it is a coaching always. With me, it's always a coaching.
Right. So for you, the cost of living in Medellin, even though there's been some inflation, I think there's been general inflation too, like just stuff at the market, food, everything has kind of gone up. But for you, you still feel that it's affordable.
It is affordable. Sometimes it's better for me. Sometimes I have challenges. But yeah, I've always say the best solution is always make more. And I know this channel is all about entrepreneurship and like making good life and stuff. So it is possible, man.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Yeah. It's possible. That's
Sí.
good.
Sí.
How do you feel about the increase in tourism in Medellin? Because obviously you've been here for a few years and in Medellin living here, and
claro.
you've probably seen or been witness to
Sí.
the increase in tourism.
Claro.
How do you feel about it?
Personally, I love it because it is like having a gringo barrio, a gringo town. Like if I want to practice my English, I just go to Provenza. I mean, Provenza is almost like a gringo town now.
Yeah, it's like a mini gringo town.
Sí. So I like it. Of course, it has its pros and its cons because things happen. Like the renting phenomenon that's happening. That's something that's not so good, because imagine that tourists come here and they pay like 2 months worth of renting. So for us, for locals, especially for locals, maybe I can manage because I already making dollars and I'm getting there. But for a local that is making pesos, so it's not fair. So I think there has to be in the future, or from now, there has to be some like control.
Yeah.
To get some equilibrium, balance point.
Right. Okay.
Sí.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way.
Sí,
I feel the same way as a semi kind of foreigner. I'm not a foreigner, but kind of I am.
Sí.
I feel that the growth is amazing. It's great for the economy. It's great for people coming in and spending their money on tourism, even if it is driving rents up, which is a negative for locals. But at the same time, the 95% of the apartments are owned by locals, so they're making more money. They're able to put more into the economy.
It's
at
like
the end of the
cash
day,
going in the streets, like a lot of cash paying, so you can sell, person buys. So
yeah, and probably if this keeps up, within the next 5 to 10 years, there will probably be some sort of control or designated Airbnb areas like they have in some major cities in the United States around the world, so that you're not pricing out everybody and pushing all of the locals away. There might be some of that in the future. I could see that happening if things keep growing the way they are, but we're far from that. Because Medellin only had 1.6 million tourists.
Okay.
Where, for example, like New York or Miami, they got like 40 million. Paris gets like 60 million a year or something like that. Some ridiculous numbers that it makes sense that those laws are in place in those areas, because it's just a ton of people coming in with more money than the locals have sometimes that can push people out because the locals want to make more money on their Airbnb. But right now, I think we're still far from that. But it could get to that point if but Medellin has to do a few things. They
Sí,
have to
claro,
make
claro.
it safer. I mean, we're still a long ways away.
Sí.
When I talk to some of my buddies that own a lot of real estate out here and businesses and stuff, and they're like, this is just the beginning. Like, people are complaining now. They're like, wait 5 to 10 years. The people will, it'll be to the point where they'll have to put in laws and stuff, and then you'll be kicking yourself because you didn't buy an apartment, in 2024, which is interesting. So yeah, I think the whole tourism thing is great. But like you said, there has to be some sort of balance too, so that it doesn't go a crazy way. So, okay, so guys, let's get into the safety questions. I think it's the most important topic that everybody's talking about, including the new mayor, Fico,
Sí.
Federico Gutierrez.
Sí.
I was out in Provenza yesterday, last night.
Sí,
And-
I saw your
Yeah,
picture.
there was like 50 policemen
Sí.
out there. There was the military,
Sí.
the army. Sorry, the army was out there with their AK-47s, and you had the immigration police was there. The transit police was there as well. It was just everywhere, and I hope that happens. But let me ask you this: in your opinion, is Medellin safe?
See, like, bro, the short answer is yes. I mean, let's get rid of the bullshit. Like, bro, this is safe. Like, in short answer, this is safe. Come on, this is not like fucking Sudan or something like that. It's not like, no, this is safe. General terms, this is safe. Of course, things happen. Of course, if you do not take the precautions you need. But bro, three years here, never been rough. Nothing has happened to me. Of course, I'm a local. That is something. It is something important. But Medellin is very safe. Bogota is a little bit more dangerous. Sadly, Bogota is a little bit more dangerous. Sadly, Cali is a little bit more dangerous.
So Cali's like the most dangerous
It's
out of the three.
It's the most dangerous city in Colombia.
Yeah.
Cali. Sadly, but in general terms, I think if you take enough precautions, meaning you don't go out with your Rolex, walking on the street, maybe you are just in your car, the areas, you are with local people, you previously you have like look up for the search for the places, the Google Maps and stuff. You see there's a lot of information about Medellin regarding safety.
Right.
So there's maps and stuff, like this is red zone, zona roja, you cannot go here, you cannot. So there's a lot of information. So I think, as always, information is our saver. So I think Medellin in general terms is very, very safe. I feel very, very safe here. Just be cautious, have precautions.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good tip to obviously do research before you go. Like, for example, even if I were going to a safe country, wherever, let's say I was going to go visit Canada or or something like that, I would do research as to where I'm going because I want to learn what to do, what not to do. Because even though it's Canada, there are some neighborhoods that you probably don't want to go walking through, especially like at night and stuff like that. So doing your research, watching YouTube channels like mine or like some of the other people.
I have a video on that, how to not get robbed and killed in Medellin.
Oh, that's a good video. I'll have to watch that. I didn't watch it. Yeah, so I too, I am on the same boat. I've been here 14 years and I've never been robbed on the street. I've never had anything happen to me. I've never been kidnapped. And a lot of people say, well, it's probably because you look Colombian and you also speak Spanish fluently. But remember,
that helps.
Yeah,
that helps.
Yeah, but if you think about it, what's the statistic of how many Colombians get robbed or kidnapped by other Colombians? It's probably in the 90 percentile, right? Like 90% of the crimes committed in Colombia are for Colombians to Colombians.
Exactly.
Foreigners get robbed a lot less because there's less of them.
And honestly, whenever a foreign is drugged or something or robbed, it has to do with some drugs, some kind of some kind of already illegal activity.
Or shady activity, yeah. Somebody just asked where, Michael Sands says, what area did you say you live in, David?
Calasanz. Calasanz.
Calasanz is towards the west of the city, on line B of the metro, after the stadium, after Floresta.
In Floresta.
You get off at Floresta, and then you
Right there.
you can walk to Calasanz from
Sí,
Floresta,
claro,
or you
claro.
could take the Calazania bus.
Sí, también, if you go para arriba.
Because I used to live up in the hill, and
Arriba.
I used to live in Calazania 2. So I would take Calasanz
Claro.
to Boston.
El bus.
Calasanz, Boston,
Claro,
to go downtown to teach
El
downtown.
bucecito verde.
Yeah, bro, they drive like the Fast and the Furious. What are the there's a bunch of memes on the Colombian pages where it's like,
Sí.
I need to get to work fast. No Uber, no taxi. What is those green buses? They have a name. Conatra. El
sí,
bus
sí.
Conatra. Like with Vin Diesel driving.
Sí, pasa un poquito.
Yeah. I reckon they're both in Medellin. Yeah, we're both in Medellin. He lives in Calasanz. I live in El Poblado. I've lived in Calasanz myself when, like 8 and 9 years ago. And I also felt safe there. Granted that there's like, in El Estadio, there's that, the part of the river, not the river, but
Sí.
what is it called?
70 o qué?
No, but it's like,
¿Parques del Río o qué?
no, it gets really dark at night. And there's people
sí,
that like
claro,
indigentes that live in
sí,
that river in the
Sí,
back.
y no pasa nada igual.
Yeah, no, but I wouldn't.
Sí, obvio.
Some people have
Sí,
gotten
sí, sí,
robbed
sí,
there.
sí,
So,
sí.
but like I'm not gonna go through there at
Sí, claro.
11 or 12
Claro,
o'clock
claro,
at night.
claro,
You take a
claro.
taxi home type thing.
No, and funny story, bro. I tempted to be robbed by a foreigner.
Wait, what? No, wait. Wait, he just said that he got mugged. Or someone tried to mug you.
They tried. So there's this British guy
Yeah.
that is working with some Colombians criminals, and the British guy called someone related with English, with Ringo Paisa stuff and stuff. So he calls me. He say in perfect, beautiful British accent. Yeah, no, I need a translator right now. Well, not good British accent, but let's try that. I need a translator right now in my farm. Yeah, I will pay 2 million because it is too urgent. I need you get here right now. He sends me location. I just, because he spoke perfect English, I just trust.
Right.
So I just trust, and okay, yeah, let's do it. 2 million. Yeah, I know I'm silly, I'm stupid, but anyway. So I took a taxi. The taxi got me there. I went to the location, and the location, I was talking with the guy, and the guy was like, no, more up, upper, like higher.
Higher, yeah.
Say higher, and bro, I cannot get high any like more high, bro.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of the mountain.
Right.
High. Then another guy calls me in Spanish, and he says like he's the owner of that area.
Yeah.
There are paramilitares. Starts with the psychology. Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna. If you don't leave, you need to leave the taxi. You need to tell the taxi driver and yourself. You need to just get out the taxi, leave the taxi there, and go. Because otherwise, I'm gonna kill you both, and I'm fucking. Pablo Escobar is nothing
Compared to that guy.
to those guys, bro. So, like, según ellos, ¿cierto? According to them. So, I was like, a taxi driver, brother. He was like, papi, nos van a matar. He was like this. Sí, no, papi, nos van a matar. Nos van a matar. And I was like, no, brother, this is just a modality.
Scam. It's a
scam. It's a scam. Let's go. So just keep talking with the guy. Let's go. Nos van a matar. The guy keep going until he gets to a safe point. He's fucking guy. We went. And that's it. But
I've heard of this scam. And they'll use people that. So this is the scam, guys.
yeah.
Someone will call your phone because they maybe, and it usually happens to someone that that can be reached pretty easily because they have social media, or maybe like you, because you have you teach. They could find your phone number quickly, and they know that they can try to scam you. So they'll call you. Someone speaking English will say, hey, I need help with
Like
some
a real
documents.
foreigner.
Yeah, I need some help with some documents. I'm not from here. I heard that you can help me with translations. Can you come to my farmhouse? And it's like in the middle of the mountains in nowhere, and people have gone, and they go there. They get halfway there, and then they get a call from a Colombian guy, like talking that he's like the head of the paramilitaries in the area. He owns the whole mountain. And that if that he needs to get out of the car and the taxi needs to leave, or else I'm going to kill both of you.
Exactly.
And this is like the fourth time
They
someone
started
tells me
to
about
asking
this.
for information. When they started to ask for my information for my brother, my mother, and stuff, I said, no, impossible. I'm not doing this. So let's go. Bro.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. So it's a scam because they want to rob you. And
Yes,
and
exactly.
yeah, it's scary because you're in the middle of nowhere. So if someone's trying to lure you to the middle of nowhere, they're not going to pay you.
Yeah. But it's a
Lesson
scam.
learned.
It is
It's a scam.
Yeah,
It's a scam. It's not even real.
Exactly.
I mean, there's probably someone waiting for you, but they're not like the paramilitary.
And I'm local, so they try to rob me. So
Yeah.
the things happen. But if I were more intelligent, I would see the location or I would ask for money in advance.
Right. Like
That's it.
I can't help you unless I get paid some money.
They have.
Yeah.
Give me 1 million, I go there.
Yeah. Well, I guess lesson learned. Let's see. What is Joseph? Joseph, thank you for becoming a member, by the way. I saw that. Thank you. Joseph became a member. If you guys want to become a member of the channel, on the YouTube channel, all you got to do is click the join button. It's like $2 a month. You support the channel.
Awesome.
Etc. So thank you so much for that. AK says, someone has asked, Joseph says, I hear Envigado is the safest in Medellin.
It is.
It is.
That's true.
Why is Envigado the safest in Medellin?
Bro, I think because of the mayor. I think because the history, maybe. They've been working on the safety longer than Medellin.
I also heard, they've, and it's also smaller. It's way
smaller.
smaller than Medellin.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's kind of the fanciest place in Medellin is Envigado. It's
Yeah.
like right there with the Poblado.
Yeah, it's like being in the suburbs in the U.S., right? It's like a suburb of the city. On top of that, one of the biggest criminal organization, it's originated there, which is La Oficina.
La Oficina, sí.
So obviously they protect their own land.
Sí.
Yeah.
Eso pasa mucho aquí en Medellin. That happens a lot here in Medellin. The criminals, the criminals, the drug dealers, they protect the area. That's why. Funny enough, but Medellin is safe also for that because nothing can happen.
Right, and especially in certain parts. For example,
Yeah.
like Barrio Antioquia. That's like everybody knows that what happens in Barrio Antioquia. But
Nothing
you
can
will
happen.
never
Yeah.
get mugged
Yeah,
in Barrio
no.
Antioquia.
It's
Nothing.
the safest place.
Thieves would never do that because they know they'd get killed in Barrio Antioquia. So it never happens.
It's
Yeah.
something, man.
Yeah. Okay. So safety issues, guys. So another question is, do you think that Medellin is going to be safer in 2024 than it was in 2023? Granted that in 2023, crime rate was up, mostly like petty crime, like muggings and pickpocketing, stealing of cell phones. That went up.
Sí.
Across the whole city. It's not just
Sí.
because of tourists are
Sí,
getting
sí.
robbed, but everybody in Medellin is getting
Sí,
robbed.
sí, sí, sí.
Do you feel that Medellin would get or will get safer?
Yo creo, I think, hopefully, and I think the mayor has that commitment.
The new mayor, yeah.
The guy has to do that. So I think yes.
Yeah. Why do you say the mayor has to make Medellin safe?
Because, politics here in Colombia, I know in the USA happens, they are all rats. They're all fucking politics, man. Come on.
Especially, in Latin American countries, most politicians are corrupt.
They are
I mean,
corrupt
that's just,
as fuck.
so nobody really trusts them.
Yeah, exactly. But with that said, I think Fico, he needs and he has to make this city safer because that's his commitment, that's his promise, and that's the city needs that, even though it's not the most dangerous city, but the city needs that. So he has to do it.
He has to do it, yeah. Especially if he wants to run for president again. He needs
Exactly, he needs to do it.
he needs
Yeah.
big wins,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
successes.
The previous mayor did something like it was good because he gave computers to
I saw that too.
people in the high schools. That's good, but the safety wasn't maybe his main commitment. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I think Medellin is gonna be safer for sure. For
Right.
sure, every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I do too. I believe that.
Sí, 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 claro.
Okay, so you have a you have a funny video, which was the 8 forbidden in Colombia, like the eight forbidden things that you shouldn't say in Colombia. Can you give us some of those?
Sí, claro, claro. It's not like exactly forbidden. It's just like
A title that grabs
sí,
you.
a
Yeah.
title that grabs your attention and stuff. But could be considered, like, for example, one thing that it is forbidden is the classic. I know you guys don't do that, but the classic foreigners tell, "Oh, you are from Colombia? Oh, cocaine, Pablo Escobar." That is forbidden. That is forbidden for sure.
Oh my God, that happened to me so much in the
Sí.
80s and 90s growing up in the United States. Whenever I would say I'm Colombian, the first thing people would say is something about cocaine or something about Pablo Escobar.
That is for real forbidden.
Yeah, that's like a faux pas.
Exactly.
Yeah, like don't do that because it makes you look stupid. Kinda.
Sí, 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 sí. Total, o sea, total. But apart from that, the other behaviors, maybe not recommend. For example, I don't know, we Colombians, when I don't understand something or something, you said something and I, what? We cannot say ¿qué? It's kind of rude. It's not forbidden, it's kind of rude. Like, ¿qué? No. ¿Cómo dices?
Como, yeah.
¿Cómo?
Como.
¿Cómo dices? ¿Cómo?
I learned that
¿Cómo dices?
too because
Sí.
I would say que all the time.
Sí, 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 sí.
Because I grew up around Mexicans
Sí.
and it would be like que, but my own parents, they didn't like when you said que.
Ajá, no. Grave,
Like,
grave.
yeah,
Sí, sí.
you would say que. They would be like, you don't say that, right?
Uh-huh.
So, but I would say it sometimes, and I learned that here they say como.
Always.
Always.
Whenever we want to say, like, say what?
Say what?
Pardon me? It's like, ¿cómo dices? That's more beautiful.
Yeah,
Or
como.
just, ¿cómo?
Como dices?
¿Perdona? ¿Cómo dices?
Yeah.
O sea,
Okay.
another one would be the famous... What was the other one? The famous bananear.
Bananear.
Bananear, or in Medellin, lolear, which is going to this store, another store, just...
Window shopping.
Yeah, window shopping is the...
Yeah, that's the term. Lolear.
Lolear is window shopping. Yeah, that's...
So lolear is forbidden?
It's not forbidden, but it's not recommended.
Why?
Because, I mean, if you go to a store and try things out, people are going to expect you to buy.
To buy?
Yeah.
I do that all the time. People hate me. But I do come back and buy.
Sí. It's not forbidden, but it's not cool.
It's not cool. It's not cool. Yeah.
Sí.
I do. Do you guys window shop? I love window shopping. I love going and seeing, like, especially like furniture.
That's not
Like,
cool. That's
you
not
know
cool.
you're old when you like to go furniture shopping. When I was a kid, I fucking hated it. Like, oh, we got to buy a couch or a sofa or whatever, a table. Now it's like, oh, let's go into
Sí. But of course, it's a good opportunity for a good salesman.
Right.
Because you think you are window shopping.
Until you buy.
Yeah, but if it is a killer, an assassin, a salesman, bro, you are not window shopping.
Yeah, you're
just
you're
that you
buying.
know, you don't know.
Yeah.
You think you're window shopping, but the guy, yeah, no, this is perfect for you. No, but let's do some advance. I have a credit. Boom. They
Yeah.
got you.
They got you. And you said another word, bananear?
Bananear is in Bogotá.
Oh, so they say instead of lolear, they say bananear.
Lolear is
which-
window shopping in Medellin. Bananear, from banana. Bananear is window shopping in Bogotá.
Okay. I did not know that.
Sí.
Those are funny. Yeah, so check out his channel, guys. He has a bunch of those videos, which is great.
Gracias, sí.
Another quick question for you is, what is your favorite place in Medellin?
Sí. I've been thinking of that question. And I really have to say, I think it's Parques del Río
Parques del Río.
and Cerro Tres Cruces.
Really? So
Sí.
Parques del Río is this newer, basically it's a giant park right on the river where there's a lot of green spaces, walkable spaces, people doing exercise,
Sí,
etc.
yoga, baile, dancing, good food over there, roller skating practice. I'm a roller skater, so that's why I
You do like inline skates or the four?
Yeah, inline skate,
Inline
yeah,
skating.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
See, so Parques del Río is very, very cool place. Nothing happens there, meaning it's not dangerous. You can just go make your workout, practice your Spanish if you want, doing some yoga. Parques del Río, lo amo, me encanta.
And what area of the city is Parques del Río?
Eso es Conquistadores, eso es Ciudad del Río Conquistadores.
Okay, Conquistadores, which is like Laureles area.
Sí. Y Parques del Río also is connect with Parques, el Parque de los Pies Descalzos, so you got the planetarium there, you have a water museum over there, and you have the Parques del Río. It's a very cool place. And the other one is Cerro Tres Cruces.
Yeah, which is the mountain.
Is the mountain.
Where you can hike up the mountain.
Sí. Muy bueno, muy bonito,
Yeah.
me gusta
That
mucho.
one can be dangerous at night. Like if you're coming
Sí,
down
claro,
late,
en la noche,
that can,
nunca,
because
pero-
you're kind of like isolated, you can get mugged. I've heard of people getting mugged out there. I've
Sí,
never
sí,
been
sí.
mugged there, but I always go, like if I go in the morning.
Sí, y ha sido varias veces.
Yeah, and then before at 10 o'clock, I'm already coming
Sí,
back
claro,
down. So it's
claro,
not
no,
like,
no pasa nada.
yeah, nothing really happens. But I heard that if you go down like late at night, it could be dangerous as far as muggings are concerned.
Sí, pero es muy bonito. Cerro
Yeah.
Tres Cruces es
Oh
muy
yeah, the
bonito.
view
me
is
gusta.
beautiful.
Sí,
I love it.
sí,
Yeah,
sí,
and
sí,
you can work out up there, etc.
Sí,
Yeah,
muy
there's
bonito.
a lot of
me gusta
beautiful
mucho.
women,
Sí.
and for the ladies, a lot of beautiful men.
Sí, a lot. Sí.
Stephen Bradley says, "Let's work out together, David."
Papi, estamos trabajándole al press banca. Sí, señor.
916 says, "Cómo es opposed to que for what?" Oh, yeah. So
as
when you're
opposed to-
asking the word, the question "what," in Colombia, instead of saying que, you say "cómo." Like when you didn't understand something, you did "cómo."
How?
¿Cómo dices? What did you say? Or how, it's less abrasive because que can be
it's
kind of like a rude or an abrasive way to ask what?
Sí.
Like if you're mad, yeah, que? Like that's the proper use of it. But
Sí.
como is like, ¿cómo dices? It's more polite.
Sí.
Yeah.
Sí.
And they always reply with tranquilo. Mi español es muy limitado, and they always reply with tranquilo. Yeah.
Sí, todo
That's
bien.
a great way to introduce yourself. It's say, hola, me llamo blah, blah, blah. Mi español es limitado o hablo poco español. Por favor, habla despacio. I've heard people say that, and it
Sí,
works really
claro,
well because
claro.
if someone thinks you speak Spanish, they go, "Ah, blah, 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 blah," and you're like, what?
Sí. They have no
You're like,
mercy.
¿Qué?
They have no mercy. That happens with me because they see that I can crack some phrases out and stuff, and they start talking with like a native. But yeah, that happens. Sí,
Yeah.
sí.
Max says, I want to live in Colombia, but I'm not sure if I could find a good job while I'm there. Whilst I'm there. Max, he's probably British, right?
Sí.
Because he uses whilst. I would say take care of that before you come down here, Max. It's a lot easier for you to get a remote job while living in your country, whether it's in Europe or in the United States. And
Or for native English speakers, there are a lot of opportunities here. A
Really?
lot.
There are?
Yeah.
like what kind of jobs?
Like remote jobs, call center kind of jobs. The teachers' jobs, they demand more like documents, like
Certifications.
certifications and stuff.
Okay.
Sí. But there's a lot of opportunities for native English speakers down
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Sí.
But I would still recommend that instead of just coming down here with nothing, at least make a plan, or maybe even contact the companies that do have like call centers here and
Claro,
see if
claro,
there's
claro.
if it's possible. Because you don't want to come to Medellin the way I came to Medellin or Colombia the way I came, broke with no job and no education. That's like the
Sí.
worst way to travel. Yeah, because when I came to Colombia because I was deported from the United States.
Ay, jue-
So
Pero o sea que no puedes volver allá.
no, nunca. No, I lived in the United States for 26 years, and then I got deported in 2010, and I was 28 years old. I had no money, no...
And can we know why, or can I know why?
Yeah, well, because I was illegal. Like my whole... I was always in
muchos
process of documentation.
hijueputas.
I was always... That's
26
usually the response. Yeah, 26 years. I was always in the process. Obviously, I had to... So I had a couple of like parking tickets and stuff that I hadn't paid. And one day I rolled a stop sign. Over there, they're very strict with the driving rules. And it was late at night. I was coming home from work. I rolled a stop sign. The guy gave me the ticket, and also my driver's license was expired. So I shouldn't have been driving. I was driving on an expired license. So again, that's another ticket, another multa. So I had like accumulated about like $4,000 or $5,000 worth of like debts or tickets. So I went to the judge. I went my court date.
Sí.
The judge said, you owe X amount of money. And I'm like, are you working? Yes, I'm working. All the questions. And I'm like, I can't pay that. Is there another way? He's like, well, you could do a weekend in the jail, in the local jail, not like the prison or the jails that you see in TV. You could do a weekend and we'll clear all of your charges. And I'll be like, okay.
Sí.
And so I went in on Friday night after work, and then Sunday came, and I was supposed to be released, and then I wasn't released.
Ay,
2 months later, I'm in Bogota with a suitcase and no money,
muchos hijos de
and
perra.
so you don't want to do this. Don't come to Colombia with no plan because you're not going to enjoy it. Your life is not going to be fun. Finding work will be hard. Because even though there's opportunities for bilingual people, you still have to go through job interviews, got to get the job, you got to open up your bank account.
Y tienes que levantártelo el día a día.
Yeah, you got to do the 9-to-5 job. So I always recommend people to organize themselves with like a remote job, even if it's a 9-to-5 job that you can work remotely, make your own schedule type thing, and be making dollars. Like, because that's the big thing. Because if you work here locally, you're going to be making pesos, which is going to be less than what you could probably make in your own country as a remote worker or even a freelancer doing whatever it is that you're good at. So I highly recommend you do that.
Sí, claro, brother.
You won't like the salary, Johnny V says. Yeah, exactly. The salary is going to be a Colombian-based salary. So even though it might be good here, like let's say 3 million pesos, per month, you might be able to make more just by getting a job in your own country for dollars or pounds or euros or whatever it is.
My estimation for like the minimum to have a decent, good life here is $1,200.
$1,200, yeah.
That's my estimation.
Yeah, so if you want to live a good life here, according to David, decent
good life.
$1,200 per month, where you can live in a neighborhood like Belén.
Very good neighborhood.
Good neighborhood.
Eat Uber Eats every day.
Yeah, or Rappi.
And have some party, or maybe save some money and stuff. Yeah,
$1,200. Yeah. And you're living like in an estrato maybe 4 or 3 with that kind of budget. So,
but that's the minimum. Of course, you're gonna want to do more. Of course.
Yeah. Interesting.
Sí.
Andrew, do you share the amazing M&M program? You and AK have the people on this channel too. Yes, so the Medellin Masterclass with Stephen Bradley is an alumni. He was our first student of the Medellin Masterclass.
¿Sí?
He was our first student back in September, I believe, when we first started it.
Chimba.
And now we have 18 students, going on 18 or 19 students that have taken it or are currently taking it. And we have our first lady student because everybody was a male student. So we have our first female expat that is taking.
Where's she from?
She's from she's British, but she lives in Kuala Lumpur in Southeast Asia. Okay. She's an expat there, and she's relocating to Medellin with her daughter, and she's taking the Medellin Masterclass. If you guys want to find out more about the Medellin Masterclass, if you're ready to make a move this year, it doesn't have to be right now, but you want to plan your move, take the Medellin Masterclass. The link is in the description below. You don't just go there and buy it right away. What people do is they book a 15-minute call with me and AK first, and we screen you because the Medellin Masterclass is not for everybody because not everybody has everything in place, right? Like money coming in, being able to live their life here, etc. So we screen people, and then once you take it, you become part of our community. We do events every month. We meet each other. We do networking. I'll invite you to the next one so you can meet the guys.
You can put me some to give some Spanish lessons or whatever.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Sí,
hey, let's go.
Sí, claro,
good idea.
Brother,
Free
claro.
Spanish lesson. No, I'm just kidding.
Free for you guys. I don't know.
Steven says the resources are amazing. Thanks for all of what you guys put together. No problem. Thank you, Steve. You're awesome.
Talking about that.
He's so good. Yeah. Yeah. Steve, we got to hire him as our spokesperson. Max says, I like listening to bilingual live like this because my Spanish is quite limited. I only understand some palabras and not sentences, but I pick up how words are used as opposed to
For example, when you were telling your story, I said like, hueputa, holy shit. Holy shit, hueputa. That's holy shit.
That's like in context.
Sí.
Son of a bitch.
Sí. But we say hueputa meaning holy shit.
Oh my God.
Sí, oh my God.
Holy
Exactly.
shit. Yeah.
Sí.
916, is it possible to cash flow passive income $2,500 to $3,000 US from Airbnbs in El Poblado? Yes, you can. But I haven't heard much of like Airbnb arbitrage. That's harder because most people that own apartments are doing it themselves. They're not going to sublet, or they're not going to rent to someone that's going to sub rent on Airbnb because they'd rather make the money themselves. That's been my experience. I tried it. I'm not talking just out my ass. I'm talking because I tried it. I had my assistant contact 50 different properties that were for rent to talk to the owners and see if we can rent it with a clause that we can sublet. Out of the 50, only 2 replied, and they said no. So I've tried it. I tried to see, hey, if I rent this apartment, if I do some little remodeling it and furnishing it really well, can I put it up on Airbnb? Only 2 people replied, and 2 people said no. And those were people that had apartments for rent, like unfurnished, like the Colombian local way, and nobody did it. So the Airbnb arbitrage can be done because I know one person that does it here, but it's going to take a lot of legwork. And of course, you could probably cash flow to $2,500 to $3,000 a month. But again, that's a job. That's a full-time job. A full-time job.
There's a gringo over here, and you guys, you have to know that we call you guys gringo.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's endearing. It's a nice term.
Sí, it's not offensive. So there's a gringo here that it's like the king, it's like the gringo king of Medellin. He has a book, Optimize My Airbnb.
Oh yeah, Danny.
Sí, Danny.
Yeah, Danny stayed in one of my Airbnbs.
Qué chimba.
We played basketball together, etc. He's a cool guy.
Sí,
Very
sí,
nice
sí,
guy.
sí, so,
Ransom says, Buenos dias. Buenos dias. You're in San Jose, California. But no, están a 3 horas atrás.
Buenas tardes,
Buenas tardes, Ransom. Buenas tardes. It's afternoon. Good afternoon. Good evening. San Jose. I lived in San Jose for 2 years. In San Jose, it's near San Francisco, Oakland. It's a nice area. Steve says IT was exceptional. Okay. I missed the context. Joseph says, congrats. Brad says the resource. Oh, I already read that. Sorry. Leo, what's up, Leo? Leo, my friend, longtime friend. He says, happy belated birthday, Andrew. Miss your live streams. Yo, you missed the live stream that day. Thank you, Leo. No problem. Appreciate you. Oh, speaking of Northern Cal, I think Leo lives in North Cal. All right. So the final parts of this episode are, before we get to the final questions, I want to share this with you guys. This is his book. Tell us about your book that you put together. Here, put it closer. Look at that, guys. He has his own Spanish book.
Sí. So this is Spanish Essentials. It is your daily words, as you see here, is your daily words in Spanish, because you can go to any academy, any language school, but you need to know your daily words in Spanish. So I put together this book because that happened to me. Like I needed to say my words that I use daily in Spanish, but in English. So I started to came out with this idea that, brother, I need like for example.
Here, let's go down here. I'll show you what you're looking at.
Mira, vamos aquí como en la tercera, no way. Mira, en la primera, I'm learning Spanish. Essentials.
Okay.
Más bajo, más bajo.
Más para abajo. Sí. Lower.
It has its own audiobook, guys. It has the audiobook for following the pronunciation. Ahí. Entonces, for example, the most essential of them all, I'm learning Spanish. Estoy aprendiendo español. So that's something that, of course, you can learn in an academy, but this is fully organized essentials. So, for example, that kind of we use all the time in English. ¿Sabes?
Yeah.
¿Sabes? You know what? ¿Sabes qué?
¿Sabes qué?
You know why? ¿Sabes por qué? You know what I'm saying? ¿Sabes lo que te digo? That you know what I'm saying? We say all the time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Well, in English is ¿sabes lo que te? In Spanish is ¿sabes lo que te digo?
Yeah.
¿Sabes lo que te digo? You know what I mean?
You know what one that sounds really that means the same, but people use it a lot here too, is me hago entender.
Me hago entender.
Me hago entender. I never used to use that until I came here and I heard it so much.
We say
so am I making myself clear?
Exacto.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't have that one here, but yeah.
That's a good one.
Me hago entender. Entonces, por ejemplo, for example, This is a good one. I'm doing my best.
I'm doing my best.
Hago lo que puedo.
Yeah.
Hago lo mejor que puedo. The audiobook is occult, is private in YouTube. It's only for the persons who buy the book. So it has its own 3 hours audiobook to following the
On the
pronunciation.
Oh,
Sí.
very good. So all of this is an audiobook, guys. How
Also,
can
sí.
where can people find this book online?
This book is gonna be on Amazon pretty much next week.
Next week? Okay,
Next
I'll share
week.
it next week when you go when I go live next week, guys. I'll share the link to his
and
Amazon.
You buy the book, Amazon sends the physical book to your house. And the audiobook, because it is a private link, you just hit me up on the Instagram. You send a picture with the physical book, and I send you the PDF version for Kindle and the audiobook link.
Perfect.
Sí, señor. Sí,
Awesome.
señor.
Very awesome. Congratulations on the book, by the way.
Thank you, brother.
It
Thank
looks
you.
amazing.
Thank
Very
you.
professionally done, guys. Go check it out when it goes live next week. I will be sharing the link.
Thank
and
you.
I think the best part is that it's audiobook, so
Sí.
people can listen to
Sí,
the
sí, sí,
accent,
sí, sí.
can try to
And in the
practice.
audiobook, I explain more things about it.
Yeah.
Like I give some tips on pronunciation. That's why the book, it has only 80 pages, but the audiobook is 3 hours.
Yeah.
Almost 4 hours. So I don't know if you want just pick someone that you find interesting, some essentials, and
Okay.
you just play with it.
Yeah. Here, let me share again.
You pick some essentials and you just play with it.
Okay, so I don't know. First of all,
Por ejemplo,
primero que todo.
primero que todo.
First of all. So this is great because this book
Sí.
actually teaches you phrases instead of just like the boring grammar, how to conjugate.
¿Dónde
a
está la
verb.
biblioteca? No.
Yeah, ¿dónde está la biblioteca? And you know, like forming a sentence, like breaking a sentence down
Sí, sí,
grammatically.
sí.
Some people can learn that way. I
Sí,
know
sí, sí,
I was
todo
a teacher
sirve.
and I had some students that
Todo
were very
sirve, claro.
technical and they wanted to know where to put the noun and where to put the verb in English, etc. But the way that I learn is by just talking, like
Sí, claro.
like just learning the phrase and then
Consuming,
trying it.
practicing, studying.
Yeah. Wait, what? Get the fuck out of here.
I have that one, brother.
Vete a la mierda. No me jodas. No jodas.
Yeah, because that has 2 ways of saying, like the rude way or just like, man, get the fuck out of here. No me jodas.
No me jodas. Oh,
No
just like when you're
jodas,
talking
no
to a
jodas,
friend. Yeah.
weón, no
When you're
jodas.
talking to a friend.
Sí, get the fuck out of here. Sí, sí.
Max says, I hope you can ship to the UK. Through Amazon, you probably
Sí,
can.
yo
Yeah.
creo que sí.
You I don't know if there's a shipping cost, but either
Sí,
way,
pero
you
yo
probably
creo,
can.
sí.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
So I guess final questions are, what would be your advice to someone coming to Medellin that wants to live here, not just as a tourist, but someone that wants to make a life here?
Someone wants to make a life here.
I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
No, I studied before. I prepared
okay.
the interview, but of course, obviously, learn Spanish. Like, take this seriously. Study Spanish seriously. Consume it. Devour this language. Consume Colombia. Start consuming Colombia, meaning start consuming all of its programs, soap operas, singers, story, cities, accent, behaviors, everything. Consume Colombia. First of all, consume this country. Learn. I mean, put your shit together, of course. Like you guys say, like very first thing, you need to have your shit together. Of course, you are gonna want to make money online, make dollars, hopefully euros, right? So yeah, as long as you have your shit together, you know how to make some good income. As I said before, the minimum I consider for have a good decent life here is $1,200. I know that's not so much.
That's not a lot. Actually, Diego Rodriguez asks, relative to the lifestyle you'd live in the States, how well off would you be making $4,000 a month? So if you're making $4,000 a month, you are living like a king here. You're living the king's life. Like
Bro.
literally, I live
Bro,
at
you be
about
a rock star, bro.
$2,000 a month. Like my lifestyle, I live at about $2,000 a month.
That's good for
And I live in El
ocho
Poblado,
palos,
in
bro.
Barrio Manila. I order food all the time. I have a cleaning lady. I pretty much can do
I bet
whatever I want.
you have the opportunity to save some money.
And yeah, I save a lot of money because even though that's my budget, I make more than that.
Sí,
But
claro.
I save all of that. I
Claro,
put
claro.
it in.
You're gonna want to save money.
I invest
always,
and
bro.
save. That's what I do.
Always.
So yes, to answer your question, Diego, $4,000 is great, especially if you're just a person, one person. But a whole family can live off that, really. Like
Sí, claro,
you could have a
for
couple
one
kids.
person, 4K is rockstar life.
That's a rock star life. You heard
Of
it.
course, you are gonna want to make more. Of course.
Always make more.
Sí.
Yeah. Johnny V just said. David says 12 to 1800. More obviously.
Sí.
916. Your quality of life will be better than in the U.S. with $4,000. Yeah. Because in the U.S., if you live in a city like Miami, or like New York or Los Angeles, $4,000 a month. You're not.
No.
You're like
not.
maybe renting a room in an apartment, or splitting an apartment, or renting a room in a house. So your quality of life here would be a lot better because with $4,000 a month, you can afford your own apartment. You can afford to use Uber all the time.
Yeah. Bro, it's like 916 hell. Bro, it's like if you in the States were making 4x4 16
$1,000.
$16,000. That would
that's
be
a
the
really
quality.
good comparison.
Claro, es que es así.
So whatever your budget in the States is, multiply it by 4, and that's basically
How it feels
How
here.
it feel. So if you're making $4,000 a month, multiply that by 4. It's like if you had $16,000 in the U.S.
Over there.
What would be your quality of life with
Exactly.
$16,000 in the U.S.?
Exactly like that.
That's what it would be like if you had $4,000 here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Very
sir.
good.
Sí,
Very
sí,
good.
sí, sí,
Very
sí,
good. I like that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Wow. The rent in Miami is $2,500. Yeah, exactly. So just
Exactly.
alone, that's half your budget.
Sí, claro. No. Es que no.
Yeah. I have a wife and a 5-year-old, he says. I have a wife. Diego says I have a wife and a 5-year-old. Yeah. So obviously with $4,000, you can live a pretty darned good life with a wife and a son.
And
obviously.
and a cat and a dog
and
and a parrot.
and a parrot. So if you, but Diego, again, just as David was saying, you obviously want to make more because, for example,
Always.
the rich people here make more than that. The rich people in
And
Medellin.
there are some damn rich people here, local people.
Yeah, local Colombians.
Sí,
Yeah,
sí,
the
sí.
rich people, I'm talking about the
Sí.
Colombians here, make a lot more. For example, to send your son to private school at Columbus School is $10,000 a year. That's Columbus School, or the other one, which is called Montessori. Montessori and Columbus School are $10,000 a month. So just to give you kind of a gauge, that's the top one where 90% of the classes are in English and 10% of the classes are in Spanish. They learn everything in English, and they also get the equivalent of a U.S. high school GED when they finish high school there, so that they can go to university or apply to universities in the United States or in the UK. So that's a huge difference right there. The disparity between the rich and the poor in Colombia is a lot bigger than it is in the United States. The middle class is way less than what it is in the States. So just know that. If you want like the top of the line stuff, you probably want to double that income so that you can get like the top of the line stuff. Maybe if you want to live up in El Tesoro, Los Balsos,
Claro.
San Lucas, en una casa,
Claro.
stuff like that. That could be that. We were talking almost like U.S. prices, but that's like the very high end stuff. Sorry,
Sí,
I closed
claro.
this.
Claro.
Yeah. So, Hella says it's $4,000 a month in Colombia. You're broke in California. You're broke. In Colombia, you're living life really well. No problem. Exactly.
claro.
Even with kids, but I always, especially if you have a kid, because I'm about to have a kid. I'm gonna be a.
Uy, brother, te
Uy,
felicito,
huevón.
qué chimba. Uy, sí.
Yeah, so I'm about to have a kid, so I think about that. Like,
no,
so that's why I know the prices of these schools,
Claro,
because the
weón.
baby's not even born, but literally to get into one of those schools, you have to go do an interview when the kid's like 1 year old. Like, there's such a waiting list, and you have to know somebody that has their kid there or was an alumni there to give you a letter of recommendation. Like, I learned all this in 3 months now because she's like 3 months pregnant right now. So It's a lot of info.
Are you guys together and stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Very
Lovely.
happy.
That's lovely.
Very happy. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be
She's
great.
Colombian.
Yeah, she's paisa.
Ah, qué chimba,
She's
bro.
paisa. She's very beautiful.
Con toda.
Con toda. Vamos con toda. 2024.
Toda, sí. Puta, va a ser
Ah,
papá, huevón.
Now I'm really feeling like a paisa. I'm gonna have a paisa baby. What is more paisa than having a paisa baby?
Claro, brother. Qué chimba, qué chimba.
Sí, una chimba. Parce, se va a llamar Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
I love that name, yeah. Okay, so final question, David. I know it's 8 o'clock. We've done 2 hours, guys. This is
Awesome,
an
brother.
amazing
Awesome.
podcast. It feels like
Awesome.
we've been on only 15 minutes.
Sí.
Very awesome podcast,
I'm
guys.
honored.
Let us know if you like this type of podcast. We will have David back on the podcast in a few months.
De una. Let's do it. I'm down for that. De una.
De una means I'm down.
I'm down for that.
All right.
For that. De una.
Yeah. And so last question for you, David. Where can people find you? How can they connect with you?
See, no. It's just Instagram, Colombian.spanish.com. That's
Colombian Spanish.
no, .com.
No, not .com.
No, .com.
Colombian.Spanish.
Yeah, Colombian.Spanish.
Colombian.Spanish on Instagram. It's in the description, and it's also in the linked comment in the YouTube channel.
Where is it? I don't
Right here. Sorry. Wait, I didn't pin it. Sorry, let me pin it.
You pin it if you want
I did
to
pin
share
it.
some.
Is it pinned, guys?
Want to share some screen and stuff?
Pin message. There we go. Okay, now it's pinned. Message pinned. So it's pinned.
Yeah,
to
through
the chat.
Instagram is my like the fastest way to get in contact with me. Honestly.
Yeah,
Instagram. Before you guys hitting me up, please consume the content because there's ton of good information there. The Amazon book is gonna be available. It's in reviewing on Amazon. It's gonna be available next week. So through Instagram, we can talk about the book, the PDF, the audio book, all that stuff. Instagram, Colombian.Spanish. Look at this.
Colombian.Spanish on Instagram. No, it's pinned now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, look, we could see it. Colombian.Spanish. Very easy to contact them, guys. Make sure to contact them. Make sure to hit the like button if you're watching this video. If you're watching on the replay, you can always contact me through my email. My email is in the description below. If you're looking to move to Medellin, hit us up at the medellinmasterclass.com. Check it out. I'll see you guys in Medellin hopefully this year. And we're gonna do our first live event, which I will invite you to our Medellin Buzz live event where we'll meet everybody, network, share stories, share information.
Awesome.
It's gonna be on Saturday, the 27th of January. The 27th of January, we're gonna do our first meetup in person, and we're gonna do one every month. So I hope to see you guys then. Thank you guys. See you guys later.
Gracias.